Yo, Miles, did you know that Friday night is British night?
It is.
According to Tech Noir in the chat, he says it's British night,
Whoa.
baby. Is Miles related to Danny? Are you related to Danny?
I've never heard that one before, mate. Bloody hell.
Who the hell is Danny?
Danny Dyer. Danny Dyer he's actually had quite a good story arc. He used to be a complete, as the Brits would say, a complete knobber on the TV. And now he's like a beloved like national treasure, and I have huge respect for him. So when I was young, it's like, oh, don't compare me to him. But now it's like, yeah, I know him.
I feel like
I don't know him.
I learn something new every Friday.
So you're going to do a British accent for the whole show today?
Are you going to?
Yeah, I'll try.
Okay. I think we should go that direction. Because if you've ever heard my British accent, oh God, it sounds terrible.
Can't wait to hear it.
You might never. I mean, it would just be me doing a Monty Python sketch, like the parrot sketch or something. That's
like what though? Like what? What would it sound like though?
I don't know. You have to give me a minute. We'll
never know.
We'll
never know.
I'm not prepared. Nope. I'm not. Dude, ask me to pull out a guitar. Ask me to do a song and dance. Fine. Do not. Don't ask me to do an accent live.
That's a great idea for a tip request.
Oh no!
People should tip Brian to read this in a British accent. Here we go.
I can already tell this is going to be one of those shows. Speaking of which, let's start the show.
Let's start.
This is PSVR GameScast Live, where we film live right here, 6 p.m. Eastern every single Monday, West Day, and 2 Wise Friday on YouTube. We do it live for your viewing pleasure, 6 p.m. Eastern. If you don't like looking at our faces, we totally understand that. Maybe you just want to listen to us. That's why we do it on podcast services of your choice for your oral pleasure. Oral. It's spelled with an A, you guys. Oral. I saw some people in the comments not getting the joke. It's okay. Oral.
Nothing.
Oral play. My name is Brian Powell from this channel right here, PSVR without Pro on the channel. And to my far right is Miles from Miles Dyer Official. 2 Wise.
I never get enough of that, Brian. I need to get that on my phone. Every time I get... Oh, we're doing a high five. How are we doing, Game Cats? Brian, great to be here. It has been a long week. First week back to work for me. But lots of great stuff has been happening, which we'll talk about. CES. Stayed up for 1 a.m. for that. Yesterday with Wes, it was at 3 in the morning. I wasn't able to stay up for that, but I did tune in as soon as I woke up, and it was a great conversation, hearing all his insights of PSVR2. And what a show we've got planned for today. It's gonna be good.
Keep talking.
I've been streaming games this week. The Last of Us Part 1. I am playing the entire game again in the lead up for the show that comes out on January 15th. It's new for my channel in terms of doing game streaming. So some people are a bit unsure about it, but a lot of people that aren't gamers are loving it. We just did Chapter 3 before coming on air. So 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. UK time every evening. We're going to be doing 2 chapters tomorrow. Head on over to youtube.com/Miles. We'd love to see you there.
Excellent. I love that I can just say, keep talking out of the blue. And you go, no problem. I got this shit covered.
Yep.
You're like, this is what I've been waiting for. This is why I showed up. Because in case Brian says, keep talking, I'm going to be able to keep talking. Well done. Yeah, sorry. I had to text at the beginning of the show. That's unexpected. Primal Stage, OMG, Brian has hair. I'm working to get the mohawk back, you guys. It was like, it's the most requested thing on the channel. People are like, fuck PSVR2, bring back the mohawk. And I'm like, well, I guess, I'm nothing like a 43-year-old dude rocking a mohawk. That's right up my alley, actually. I'll fucking do that shit all day, every day. We got a couple tips to take care of here, man, before we even get into the show. We got Drew B, who tipped us like 30 minutes before the show even started. Thank you, Drew B, with the $2 tip. Says, happy 2023. Gonna be a fun one today. Agreed. It's going to be a really fun one. We actually have a lot of fun stuff planned. We got Mako XL with the Canadian $2 tip says, who called Gran Turismo 7 day one? Miles did. Also, I did before the CES stream. So thank you for acknowledging that, Mako. I'm sure it has nothing to do with you. You're not trying to point to yourself, are you? Is that something you're doing? You're trying to give yourself credit? You're welcome. That came from me.
A lot of people called it, and to be honest, it was one of those guesses where it seemed so obvious that it made us doubt ourselves.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, it's clearly going to happen, but it's like, but is it? Like, we've seen Sony do this before, where there's something that seems obvious and then they don't do it, a bait and switch. But the surprise for me was the Beat Saber announcement. Although I did predict that it would be a sort of, when I mentioned under the radar, I didn't mean it was just going to appear on the store, but I thought it would be something they, announced nearer the time, a bit quieter. Interesting that they announced it boldly at this event.
Yep.
And then said more details to come, which I do think ties into my theory that the next phase of Beat Saber with a progression system and all that, Meta wants to bang on about it. But what was really interesting was it Beat Saber's account or Meta's account? It would have been Beat Saber's account. They said there was a tweet, something along the lines of, it was just like, get your PSVR2 to experience this game. It was something that was promoting the headset, which I thought was really interesting, because I just always got this sense of they're only going to promote Meta, but the fact they're like, no, go get PSVR2 to play Beat Saber was a really, really cool message to hear from them.
Yeah, I agree. I do think one of my predictions had been for quite a while. I was like, there's a lot of studios we haven't heard from. Beat Saber being like the most obvious. They're not saying anything. They're not even saying, hey, we can't say anything yet. Like the Wanderer team, right? Beat Saber's just been quiet, not responding to anybody about PSVR 2 at all. And I've been saying constantly, I was like, this is something that Sony's going to want to do on their own stage. And the very first time they have a stage in like a year, here they are saying it. And yeah, I mean, on the heels of Gran Turismo 7, they obviously consider Beat Saber a huge property to be touting for VR. So it's good. It's good. They're giving the respect that they need. I hope you're a couple tips away here. Jesus Christ. If you guys could only hear what was happening behind the scenes, this is the silliest thing I've ever heard in my life.
I'm going to go for the next. I can go for the next tip.
Yeah, you go for the next 3 tips.
Belramio, the Game Cat, with the €23.99 Euro tip. Wow. I hear we get a game reveal here and now, or later, but today at least. Let's go.
Very soon. Very soon. This is what's happening behind the scenes as we speak.
Oh.
Next tip.
You weren't just ordering a pizza, you know.
Dude,
which is also important.
I ordered a taco pizza New Year's Eve for the New Year's Eve stream, right? And like I ate like a half a slice or like a couple bites or a bite or something on stream, and then I was like, I can't wait to get to this thing after the fact. And then I had like a piece or two, and I was like, I'm tired, I'm going to bed. Then I was sick for like 2-3 days, and I was so nauseous that just thought of eating pizza, which I know this is blasphemy in my world. The thought of eating pizza made me want to vomit, and now I can't even think about taco pizza. Like which was until 6 days ago my favorite pizza.
I know. We talked about it all last show, and I saw you order it as well, and I was really excited about it. Association psychology is horrible because it ruins food that you love, even if it's unrelated.
Absolutely.
Don't get me started on teriyaki chicken.
Keep going with the tips, man, because I'm going to try to take care of some of this stuff over here.
All right. So Marco XL again with the $5 Miles Dyer, just hello and good day. Thank you very much, Marco. Richard Backway, if I got that right.
Sounds good.
With the $5 Australian. PSVR Gamescast Live, the podcast with a happy ending.
Whoa.
Really, really good.
Well, we're getting a happy ending?
Yeah, well, like we always end positive, don't we, on the show? So I like that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Why?
Do you not call it a happy ending in the UK? When you finish a massage with the,
Yeah. And like you say thank you, and you keep it really positive. Yeah. PSV. I love that I was running you. He's going, is this guy being serious? Is this guy being serious?
Yeah. Listen, I have no idea. Like, I mean, it's amazing. Sometimes we do make crazy discoveries. The differences between two very similar cultures, right? Sometimes we're like, sirens on my end. Sometimes we discover these things mid-show. So I was like genuinely curious. I was like, is that not an expression you guys use? Wasn't even trying to be funny.
At the end, we tip. You know, the top hat.
Just a tip, though.
Good day.
Just a tip.
Good day to you.
Just a tip. Just a tip.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a tip. Always just a tip. Otherwise, it'd be ungentlemanly. PSVR Underground with the $4.99 tip. Miles, best AJ impression. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, I'm AJ doing an impression of Miles Dyer. Bloody hell, cup of tea. Yeah.
This is the most British impression of AJ I've ever heard.
I just remember when he was doing me the other day, and I actually thought he was decent, and then he was getting really defensive. I was like, that was cool. But me doing him, it's just like, what up, game cats? But like,
that was a pretty good Frank impression. PSVR Frank.
Oh, was it? Yeah, actually, that was more Frank. Yeah, he AJ's much more gruff, which I definitely couldn't do on the spot right now. But it's like, what up, game cats? How we all doing? But yeah, it's like generic American accent, whatever I do. So. Yeah, I'm sorry, AJ. I let you down. No refunds though on the tip.
No offense, Miles. You just sound like a different British person when you do these impressions.
All right, I'll take that. I'll take that. A different British person. I got it. I like AJ's just pissing himself right now. Going, yeah. Well, this is, by the way, we were talking about tips for Brian to do a British accent, yeah? Just want to keep that in mind. Yeah. Right. Scoy Malloy. I love all the comments on that. Miles, are you going to stream some PSVR2 gaming on your channel after release? So yeah, if I can touch upon this. So this week, New Year, I mentioned over the Christmas period, I was sorting out content. I'm now posting every day on all my socials, Facebook, Twitter. Just before the show, Brian was like, Jesus Christ, Miles, you've tweeted a lot in the last 24 hours. It's like, I know,
so much.
This is so unlike me. Normally it'd be like once every week. Now it's at least 10 times a day. But on my YouTube channel, I'm planning on doing game streaming every week. When PSVR2 comes out, that's when I'll start doing the VR streaming for all the broadcast functionality. And so I would just say to anyone that wants to support me on that, whether you're on Instagram, I've even started posting on TikTok, Facebook, and on my YouTube channel, you know, show up to the live streams because it just helps keep the ball rolling. Because as I'm going through this transition, it is taking a bit of a knock on the views and stuff, but I know I've got to stay the course because, yeah, I'm really determined to start doing regular live streams. It might be that I just do one gaming live stream a week on my YouTube channel and then the rest I do on Twitch. I haven't decided yet, but I'm doing The Last of Us Part 1 stream every day until we get to the end of Chapter 12. And it's been going really good so far.
Nice. I'm holding out. I'm still convinced we're getting a PSVR2 version. I held out on Village for like 2 years, man. I can hold out on Last of Us Part 1 for another year. All right, we got 2 more tips, and then we gotta kind of get this show rolling a little bit here. We got Primal Sage with the 45 Donkey Kong Country. It says, which games do you each expect to be first 5 for you to play? Okay, he's talking about, this is interesting, man. I think Primal Sage, this is going to be a conversation that will be kind of tied into our main topic today, because we are going to be ranking all 30 plus PSVR2 launch titles that have been confirmed so far. So that, I think our ranking will play very much into which ones we're playing first. But Primal Sage says for him or her or them, Horizon, Call of the Mountain, Resident Evil Village, Gran Turismo 7, Switchback, and Kayak VR Mirage. That's a pretty fucking good list, man. He says much love to you both. That's a great list because it's some good variety in there, right? You get to shoot a bunch, rail shooter, some like light gun shooter action with Switchback. You get this nice relaxing Kayak VR Mirage, like almost meditative, beautiful, like photorealistic graphics. Horizon, obviously designed for the headset. Village, a game we've been waiting to play for fucking forever. And then Gran Turismo 7, one of the biggest and best racing sims ever made. That is a good variety of shit you've got in there, Primal Sage. So it's hard to argue with that list.
Are we doing that now? Do you want me to answer now what my first 5 to go to would be?
Well, give me your number 1, and then we'll kind of figure out the rest during our little ranking session.
It's so difficult. I mean, I'm not going to answer it directly. I'm just going to say the reason it's difficult is the 5 that I would mention aren't necessarily the 5 I'm going to spend the most time at launch.
Oh, then do it. Then by all means. This sounds like a different conversation altogether. Go, do it.
Because for me, it's like you do want, when I first get the headset on day 1, what is the thing that's going to give me a variety of flavors, and what are, some of the things I'm like, I want to know what this feels like next gen. So like Alvo, for example. Alvo is actually a game I'd probably dive into. It won't be the first game, but it'll probably be a top 5 just because I enjoyed it on PSVR. I want to know how that game feels with the next gen hardware. Horizon Call the Mountain, absolutely. This is the one that everyone has been talking about. It's their showcase piece for the platform. I think that's going to be really great. No Man's Sky. I have been putting off that game in VR since it first came out in VR just because it was blurry and they keep doing all these amazing updates. And I felt like I just want to experience this once it's crystal clear.
No Man's Sky is a good one for a game that doesn't grab me and doesn't scream and shake me and say, Brian, this is your kind of game. It is absolutely a game I cannot wait to check out on PSVR2. Maybe just like After the Fall for me. Again, another game that's this is not my kind of game, but I can't wait to see what it looks like in the new headset. And maybe maybe the new visuals will rope me in. I don't know. Yeah.
The Kayak game, absolutely. Just something meditative, I think, is beautiful. I mean, I always want there to be Tetris Effect on PSVR2. Just one of these games that just takes you into the world, and it's just like a moment to just kind of just take it all in. Puzzling Paces, all that. But the 2 games that I would also add, which haven't been announced as launch titles yet, I don't believe, is Beat Saber. It's not necessarily a launch title yet.
Right.
If that is a launch title, I was someone that was kind of feeling my arm go up if I was going to put my hand up and admit that if it didn't come to PSVR 2, Beat Saber is a game I would probably buy a Meta Quest to play.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's one of those games that I just love so much. They'll probably hate me saying that now, going, oh, quick, retract it. It's not coming out to PSVR 2. We've missed the window here. But it's so Beat Saber or Among Us, again, a game that I know that hasn't been confirmed as a launch title. But those are 2 games that really appeal to me. And once again, that isn't to say, Saints and Sinners Chapter 2, After the Fall, even the first games. There's a lot of games that are coming out and Demeo. Star Wars Tales, we're going to go through, obviously, and rank them later. There's a lot of those games that I definitely want to dive into and probably will spend more time in. But on day one, those are the ones that I feel like I just want to get a sense of what these games feel like in PSVR 2.
Yeah. Yeah, totally understandable. I like that answer because it's much different than, what games are we most excited for? Yeah. All right. One more question, one more tip, and then we're going to move on to our first big news story. Social Destruct with the $5 tip says, will Gran Turismo 7 VR support be the entire game? CES said game update, so I'm assuming yes. Social Destruct, if you saw PlayStation's Twitter account today, they basically tweeted, they said, hey, get Gran Turismo 7 while it's still on sale. It's the last day that it's on sale. It's $40 instead of $70, right? Make sure you get the PlayStation 5 version, right? Because otherwise you'll have to upgrade to the PlayStation 5 version for an extra $10. And then they followed up that tweet, in the very same tweet that said, and then when PlayStation VR 2 comes out, you get to play it in VR. No one so far is saying a mode or an experience or dedicated VR modes within Gran Turismo 7. No one's saying anything like that, and I know that they could be hiding something, but I also feel like it would be really, really bad will right now to be like, get the game while it's on sale, and we're not telling you the details, all the shit that you wouldn't buy the game if you knew, right? That would be really bad news.
Especially after all the issues Gran Turismo 7 had when it first came out with, I think it was with the credit system, wasn't it? And
the microtransactions
and it didn't go down well. It would be, especially to have it as such a front and center piece at that event, to then go, because now when you think about the thumbnail, it was a car and PSVR 2, and you know what? They were matched. To have that kind of front and center announcement and then to be like, oh, it's only a mode within the game,
right?
I think that would be a major, beyond, there's a lot of mistakes that sometimes get made, but this would be absolute marketing disaster.
Yeah, I think this is Polyphony Digital's chance and Sony Computer Entertainment's chance to rectify what I consider to be a huge embarrassment on PSVR 1. Here's Gran Turismo Sport, severely lacking in content, no full grid of racers, not the full game, not the campaign. It was it was an embarrassment, and Sony never really came out and said it themselves, but it was because the original PS4 just couldn't fucking handle it, and like that's not something you want to say about your hardware. Is our console is not powerful enough to handle this. The idea here is that PlayStation 5 and PSVR2 are capable of running PlayStation 5 games in VR with very, very little degradation to the video quality. So I think that is an error they'd like to correct this time around and save themselves from another round of embarrassment. Otherwise, I honestly don't think it would be a launch title if it was just a mode. They would be like, just wait and get the whole thing into VR, make it happen, right? But yeah, we're still waiting for clarification on that and Beat Saber. We need more details, but we do assume it's the full game. Tom M in the chat said, what time do people reckon they're going to discuss or show the new Strange Games game? I know these GAMESCAST often go on for way over an hour. I'm wondering whether it's worth staying up for. Tom, we're not going to make you stay up any longer. We're going to move right into this. Jenna
Sasquatch, not on Without Parole.
Yeah, so,
surely not.
Sure, what? No, I have not seen this. So I'm going to switch over.
Oh my god, you've not seen what, Brian?
The reveal that we're about to do. Wait,
do we know what the game is, Brian?
We don't. We have no idea.
Okay, I'm excited.
I would be more excited if things were working properly over here. But you guys just hang out, have fun. Let's see. Let me see if I can get this here.
Metal Gear Solid VR. No, I'm sorry.
No. Sorry. So if you guys saw, Strange Game Studios tweeted out that they were going to be revealing something on tonight's show. It's also in the headline of tonight's show. And so here it is. Let's do this, man. I'm going to switch over to full screen and turn up the volume.
Drum roll.
On this in just a second. You're gonna hear background CES noise for a minute, and then we're gonna switch over. All right. Here we go. Let's get back to here. So that was the announcement of D-Day Enhanced coming to PSVR2. If you guys not familiar with Honor and Duty D-Day, it was a technical achievement. I saw some people in the chat complaining about the graphics. I'm assuming anyone complaining about the graphics didn't actually play Honor and Duty D-Day on PSVR1 because the graphics were really the only bad thing about it. It was one of our first great big PvP action games. It was 16v16, 32 player online, and it was just a whole lot of fun. And so I don't know, Miles, do you have any experience with D-Day before I start talking about all of the notes that we have on this thing?
Well, I was finally going to jump into this for the Discord multiplayer get-together a couple of weeks ago, but I wasn't actually about during that time on Sunday, so I missed out. So on the one hand, I was gutted, but having seen this news and to know what they're going to be doing with bigger multiplayer, I can't wait.
Nice. Well, here we have a lot of information about this, so let's make sure we update everybody on everything that's happening with Honor and Duty D-Day for PSVR2. So this comes straight from Strange Game Studios. Remember, team of 2 people making some of the biggest multiplayer games that we're going to have. He said, with D-Day Enhanced, so interesting, right off the bat, he's calling it D-Day Enhanced. I'd sort of been poking fun at Reggie a little bit. I was like, dude, honor and duty. Like, I mean, like, we get it, right? To play on Medal of Honor and Call of Duty. I was like, but it also makes your game kind of sound like a ripoff, right? Like, you're just kind of cash in. And I kind of love that if this is the official title, it's just called D-Day Enhanced. Like, it sounds more impactful. It sounds more serious. And I feel like when developers aren't taking their own game seriously, it makes me kind of not want to take it seriously. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of a big deal if they're kind of changing the title here. They said, we're going to go back to one of our best games and bring it to PSVR2 to take advantage of improved visuals and the new features PSVR2 offers. We're planning to bring even more players into the mix, with matches supporting 48 and possibly 64 players. So here we go. D-Day was one of the biggest multiplayer games that we had already, supporting teams of 16v16 or 32-player free-for-alls, and now here we go. It could very well be it's going to be a 48-player game now, or possibly a 64-player game. One aspect of D-Day was that we never fully implemented spatial audio. With D-Day Enhanced, we're taking advantage of the PS5's audio capabilities and bringing true spatialized audio to the game. You'll be able to know where players are just by audio cues, which is obviously very important. I do think that there were many times I ran around the corner and just somebody was in my face, and I was like, how did I not fucking hear you, right? It's like, it's an arcade game, right? It's very much fast-paced Call of Duty style, not like slow-paced Firewall style. But still, like, these are important additions. He said, we're also going to add the option for manual reloading for players who really want the added immersion of realistic weapon handling. Miles, automatic reloading or manual reloading? Which do you prefer?
I was always for automatic, but from recent games like Survive, I've enjoyed the manual reloading. So yeah, manual reloading now.
Nice.
If it's implemented well, definitely adds to the immersion. And there's nothing better if you're on a server with other people and they're like trying to reload the gun, and then you've got them pinned. Like, that would be amazing.
Yeah,
especially on a platform that's going to be so much more expressive now because of the tech.
The thing I keep saying about automatic reload versus manual reload is you've got to give me an incentive to do it. Yes, it's more immersive, but in a game like this where there's potentially, 63 other players running around,
right?
You might not have time to do it. You've got to make sure that manual reloading can be done faster. Like, once you become acclimated to the process, just grab that, eject, grab, click,
yes,
and like make sure that you're able to do that faster as the player doing it manually than other players can do by pushing a button, right? So that advanced players can actually reload faster by doing it manually. Otherwise, what's the fucking point, right? So that's kind of where I am on that.
I also like the comparisons on the trailer of how they've updated it. And can I just say once more?
Yeah.
A 1 to 2 person dev team making stuff like this that is the biggest multiplayer as well up to now. And arguably, if it was 16 versus 16 on PSVR 2, it might still hold that title for the first year. Do you know? Yeah. I'm curious to know. I'm not expecting us to get an answer tonight, but a question that I would have for the devs is, striving for that 64 player. They're saying that that's what they're aiming for. I would just love to get a sense of, like, what does it mean to strive for it? Like, what are the potential blockers that would prevent you from achieving it? Because clearly they think it is possible. But yeah, just remarkable.
Yeah, I mean, over on PSVR 1, it was very, very common. We almost never saw teams of more than 10. We saw 10 players total very frequently, right? There seemed to be a cap at some point where, obviously the Firewall teams were 4 players each. There's 8. Alvo teams are 5 players each. There's 10. It's like in no games were really striving for these bigger lobbies, which might have been a smart thing to do, honestly, because the player base on PSVR 1, you would have had too many empty lobbies. So this was obviously a huge risk on Strange Game's part to even bother making something that was this big, right? Like here you go. You're going to have a game that supports 32 players. How frequently are you going to get a game that actually has a full lobby with 32 players playing at once? Luckily, we were able to do it a couple times with GameCat meetups, and Strange Games also has their own day where they would be like, okay, everyone, this is the night that everyone plays D-Day. It really helped to get everybody together on the same schedule. We're not done talking about the updates, though, so let's make sure we keep going here. Reggie continues and says, one aspect of D-Day that we felt was missing was the use of vehicles. There were vehicles in the original game, but he says, we've been making a number of enhancements to the maps, and one focus of that was to make maps with vehicles much easier to navigate, so that hopefully vehicles will be a much larger part of the gameplay. We've been making improvements to the maps, and Mountain Mayhem has changed so much, it's practically a new map. The video footage we've made up so far simply doesn't capture the visual upgrade that we've made so far. So we're going to hold off showing any footage at the moment, other than this teaser below. After playing D-Day Enhanced on PSVR for the past few weeks, I put on the original D-Day on... After playing D-Day Enhanced on PSVR2 for the past few weeks, I put on the original D-Day on PSVR1 to take some videos for comparison. When I first jumped into a match on PSVR, my first impression was, how did we play like this? The clarity of PSVR2 is such an improvement, and I think everyone is going to be thrilled with the upgrade that it offers. This is interesting. I know that one of our community members, Jay Meow, has talked a lot about how he thinks it's going to be hard to go back to PSVR 1, how, like there's going to be all these games that we remember fondly on PSVR 1, but the second we put on the headset and it's like blurry and we suddenly we're like readjusting to the move controllers. I think it's going to be really hard to go back. And now here's a developer who's just, making an upgrade for his game, going back to his original and being like, how did we do this? How did we play like this?
And it's different to playing retro flat screen games where the graphics aren't the same, because when it comes to VR, firstly, it's a screen right next to your face, but secondly, it's not just about what you see, it's about what you feel, and it's the way that you move around in these environments, and using move controllers, having to use the move button to go in certain directions. To have all that again is going to make the leap back feel like even more of a downfall. So it's really interesting to hear them say that about their own game. And I do like that honesty, and there's just these common themes that we're hearing in all the coverage, whether it was with CES or previous hands-on impressions. The standard is just going to be a whole nother level, and it means no matter what game you get to play on PSVR 2, it's going to feel awesome.
It is. Every time I put on PSVR 1 headset right now to play a new game or, a different game I have to review or cover or whatever. It was just like, I remember putting on the headset for Startenders and being like, this. I was thankful, right? Because I was like, here's a game that has like Job Simulator at best looking visuals. Like, at least it's going to be clear in the headset. And it wasn't. Like, it was blurry. And I was like, how is, like, I've gotten so tired of this being a running issue on PSVR 1 for so long that like I don't even know, like I just don't even want to fucking do it anymore, man. Like, and like I hate to say that as like somebody who covers PSVR for a living, but man, you try to play Survive, you try to play Startenders, you try to play Caves, or you try to play all these games, and it's just like, god damn, like how were launch games killing it with resolution and frame rates, and then here we are 6 years later and it's like we've somehow gotten worse. But anyway, so it's going to be hard to go back and play PSVR 1 games. I think I agree with that statement. The rest of Reggie's statement says the clarity of PSVR 2 is such an improvement, and I think everyone is going to be thrilled with the upgraded offers. Now, here's some bullet points I just want to blast through. He said there's going to be improved lighting and visuals, PSVR 2 haptics and trigger effects, 3D, which, by the way, when even the developers of Hubris are like, we don't know how much we're going to support on the PSVR 2. Because we don't want like Quest players and PC VR players feeling like they got an inferior version. Fuck Quest players and fuck PC VR players. They got the inferior version. I hate to tell you this. Whoever makes Hubris, why the fuck did I just forget the developer of Hubris? I don't know. But they're getting the inferior version. Like, here's what's going to happen if you don't give us adaptive triggers and headset vibration. People on PC VR and Quest are not going to know the difference. But we are, right? Because all the games we play are going to have adaptive triggers and haptics in the headset, except for yours. Except for yours, Hubris. Get your fucking shit together or we're out. We're out. We're going to tell people that this is not a proper PSVR 2 game. Get your shit together. Is anybody out there fucking listening? Hey, Miles, do you know I can drink coffee again?
Cyborn.
Do you know I can drink Cyborn? Thank you. You know I can drink coffee again for a while when my stomach was. Yeah, and I'm fucking loving it. Can you tell? Can you tell? I'm about to transform. Okay.
Yeah, flip the table.
That would be amazing.
Show's over.
Also, 3D spatialized audio, updated maps, new player characters, options for manual reloading, improved vehicle aspects with wider roads, less prone to destruction, and Miles, here's the kicker. All of these upgrades that we just mentioned, free for owners of the PSVR 1 version.
Amazing.
Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. So
it said on the trailer PS5 and PSVR2.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a flat screen version, or
I would assume so, because Honor and Duty D-Day on PS4 had a flat screen version. You could play it. Right. It was cross-play, the whole deal. So I would assume
that's awesome.
I think every game Strange Games has made, I think without exception, has also had a flat screen mode.
That's awesome.
Josh Cat with the $2 tip says the rise of Hulk Brian, and then he mentions Biden because we were making jokes about blocked words on the channel. By the way,
I was going to say in the Discord in our chat, I've put all the tips that we've missed.
Okay, I'm actually working backwards. I apologize
because there's some massive gaps. So yeah, it might be easier on that.
Genetic Blast Fadu with the $2 tip. Amen, BP. Amen. Thank you very much, sir. Old School Game Cat with the 9 quid says, do you think first-person shooter developers will program their PSVR 2 games to work with the aim controller as long as you've got the PS4 camera attached? Dude, I'm getting a fucking migraine just reading this. No offense, Old School Game Cat.
No.
We love you, but can you imagine the chaos that this would allow? No,
it's not going to happen.
No.
I would love.
No,
they're gonna bring out a little dongle that you put on the top of your aim controller.
Yeah,
like a camera that goes on it. It's going to be $80, and you add it to your aim controller. It's like a silencer, but it's actually to cover the move bubble or bobble on the end. What is it? Just light. Yeah, just light.
But this is how much, Miles. I'm making fun of Old School Game Cat. Hopefully, knows it's all in love. But this is how much people love the aim controller. Right, you cannot underestimate how much people love this show. And so it's.
I would buy it day one.
Oh, if there was a PSVR 2 aim controller, absolutely day one. And again, I don't care if it's like a piece of PVC piping that connects the controllers together, or if it's actually its own controller. Either way, I want it, and obviously the cats want it too. But yeah, it would be a marketing nightmare to be like, PSVR 1 controllers can work on PSVR 2 if you have this. Now you've got 2 cameras set up, and you've got this over here, and oh man, people would lose their shit. Frosted Behemoth Cat with the $5 tip sends us coffee, which is the greatest thing ever. As you just saw, I obviously need more coffee in my life.
Zombie in the chat just said, Miles, please ask the cats to hit the like button. Only a quarter done. Hello, Game Cats. There's 500 of you here, and only 115 of you have pressed the like button. I'm actually going to press it now.
For shame. For shame. For shame. Belramio, the Game Cat with the €6, says Gran Turismo 7 doesn't even have an arcade mode, so VR needs to be close to the full game or the full game. Doesn't even have an arcade mode. You okay? Cool. I'm assuming the arcade mode is what they called was possible on PSVR 1. Yeah.
We'd already done the other one, but yeah, Je ne sais quoi, I mispronounced the name, which is like embarrassing. But also Hack, whose birthday it was, I think missed the thing. So one more time, happy birthday today, Hack.
No, he only gets one from me.
Okay,
fine. Happy birthday, but next year.
No, it's too late.
No. Listen, no, but I'm not giving you one next year. That's what I'm saying.
We're gonna scrub that from the edit. That's not happening.
Everybody only gets so many happy birthdays per lifetime, and you either get 2 this year and none next year.
Right? Yeah. That's what
you know what I'm saying.
Unless they donate again.
That's right. But yeah. No. That's
happy birthdays don't come cheap.
Did we get Arian
was has been added. Yeah.
No, do you want to read that off for me so I can do something?
Sure. Yeah. With 70 Zars. I found it interesting that Jim Ryan said Beat Saber was in development for PSVR 2. I'd have expected development to be done by now. Your thoughts? Do you expect Beat Saber to be a launch title? I would just say, I think it is the fact that it is a meta game. Meta wants to be the company that champions the next generation of Beat Saber. Beat Saber has been great at growing their catalogue, but that only takes you so far. They've had new mechanics added to the game, which is fantastic. They've added the multiplayer mode for PSVR. But the progression system, and if they do battle passes and things like that, I can imagine that is what Meta is going to want to shout about. And this could be just a very clever way of Jim Ryan saying, it is coming, we can't tell you anything more about it, so it's in development. Actually, it's ready to be released, but Meta actually wants to blow the horn first, because I believe there's a new Meta Quest that's going to be announced soon, I hear, as well, which would go well with this. That's my theory. What do you think?
Yeah, I have a hard time with this. I've been saying that Sony wants to be the one to talk about Beat Saber because they probably made deals and everything, and they know how important it is to be on the headset. And so I just think this is Sony's way of stretching out big news to hit multiple events, right? So I do think that we're getting one more something before PSVR 2 launches, whether that be a state of play or some kind of showcase or something. I don't know how they're going to do it, but you know, they obviously didn't say anything about Gran Turismo. They spent 20 seconds on Gran Turismo, which was crazy. They spent like 45 minutes on the Gran Turismo movie that like 7 people care about, and then 20 seconds on the Gran Turismo 7 VR that 5 people care about proportionately. So
can I just say, actually, the guy that was speaking for the most of CES, I don't know his name, like, huge respect, does a lot for Sony, amazing. But my goodness, it was just like, did he not read his script before he went on there? It looked like he was reading the words for the first time. It was so embarrassing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I was just waiting for the information. I don't think I paid attention to the presentation at all. It's like, what, are they talking about PSVR 2 yet? No, moving on.
No, he kept talking about reality and virtual, and you're like, yep, put them a bit closer together now.
Right. I know, it was painful, but so I don't know. I just think they're trying to stretch this information out, right? And so that so this gives them an excuse to talk about Gran Turismo again and show us more clips from inside the car in VR and whatever, and how it's going to work. And then when they talk about Beat Saber again, they say, and it's going to be at launch, and it's going to be a free upgrade, and all your DLC carries over, blah 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 blah. You know, I think Sony put it on their stage, but all they showed was a logo. I have a feeling that we will see Beat Saber during and Gran Turismo 7, of course, during whatever Sony does next over the next month and a half leading up to launch. It's got to happen.
And last thing on the Gran Turismo thing, I know 4 people that have now jumped into PSVR 2 world because of that Gran Turismo announcement. Some of them had PSVR, but not much. But they're people that own the steering wheel. They love those racing games. Yeah. And a couple of days before, a day before, a friend, one of them had actually messaged me when I posted about PSVR 2 and said, "There's nothing there at launch that really interests me, so I'm not going to fork the money, because it's a lot of money to fork out."
So much money.
Yeah, and then I said to him, "What if they announce GT7 VR tomorrow at CES?" And he said, "Enter the Futurama Fry, take my money meme." And he's ordering it, and their mates are ordering it, and so. The reason I mention that is just to explain the impact that these kind of announcements make to gamers beyond VR fanatics. And it's not that we're not important. We are very important. We're leading the charge. But I always said GT7 is one of those titles that appeals to a particular type of gamer, the driving cohort. And that's going to be really, really big. I think the impact that's going to have on sales is going to be phenomenal, because what do drivers like? They like driving simulators. Well, what's a good simulator? Okay, having your steering wheel in the room. But what about in VR? Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you were aware of this, Miles, but I was already on board with PSVR 2. What I wasn't on board with was Gran Turismo 7. And now that it's in VR, I'm out there looking for wheels. Looking for like good wheels with nice haptic feedback. So when I'm going to really feel when I take the turn.
4 of them, either side of your chair.
Yeah, totally.
Awesome.
It's like nice. It's like my dad is in here, like in the room with me. Are you,
Brian?
Are you my dad?
I just want to say that GT7. I think all the game cats are going to agree with me here.
Yeah,
and I'm sure you agree with me as well, Brian. but GT7 is going to be a really good game.
I'm so done with you right now. You know what? Hold on. I'm going to turn off your mic. Turning off your mic. This is the show now. This is the show. You hear Miles? That's right. You can't. This is the show now. God Given with the $20 tip says, guys, donate to Brian. We need to get him out of the slums and away from the sirens. Hashtag sirens on my end. But what would happen? What would happen without the sirens? Sirens on my end. No, I mean God Given. That wasn't your name. What would happen? We would lose all of the charm of the show. Professor Lois with the $5 tip. This is really the rest of the show. If you liked Miles, you're just going to have to leave or come back next Friday. Professor Lois with the $5 tip says, this week's Sunday multiplayer is Battlezone. Join a team of tanks in PvE battle. Despite rumors, it works fine on PS4 and PS5 and uses DualShock. This is definitely something you should know. We'd had various reports, people having difficulties with the game. Apparently, most of the shaking or whatever that you might experience is just like in a menu, and then once you're in the game, it's fine. So please report back, and please join our Discord and join Sunday's multiplayer meetup, because that's where the shit goes down, and it's fun, man. It's fun. Battlezone is one of those games that you've got to play multiplayer. It's just so good. It's just so good. I'm going to turn Miles back up and see if he's actually talking. I have no idea. Let's go back and see. Oh, there he is.
As Twitch of the single player game cat said, carry on, Miles.
I'm turning you back off. Nope. I just turned you back off. Sorry, no one can hear you. You had one chance of redemption. It's over. This is the show now. This is the show now. All right. I think we're caught up on tips, and I think it's probably time to get to the core of the show, 5 minutes before the show's supposed to be over. So this is pretty typical of how we do things around here. Okay. Miles, are you ready to talk about the 30-plus launch titles of PSVR 2?
Yeah, because I think you're very tired of all these car puns. So let's move on, Brian. You're doing good. You're doing good, man. Don't flip the table.
I'm trying to hold it together. This
is going to make a great supercut. It's just going to be called PSVR without Pro. Brian has a meltdown. Miles' last ever show.
Snacks, please. The future has arrived with $5 tip says, notice how Jim Ryan, has said that after Gran Turismo 7 reveal, and that's just the beginning. Then 2 sentences about Beat Saber, then changed topics. What a troll. Dude, the whole conference was a troll, in my opinion. It was a fucking tease is what it was. If they don't do a special event before PSVR 2's launch, I'm gonna lose my shit, and I'm gonna cancel my pre-order, and I'm never gonna cover PSVR 2 ever again. That'll teach them. No, they don't give a fuck. Yeah. Shirzad Khan City with the $5 tip says motion telemetry is available for Gran Turismo 7 to use with any motion rigs. Motion rigs, Jesus, can you imagine that level of immersion? The thing with the 4 wheels that you're describing, Miles, in my apartment moving and shit. That's what he's talking about, right?
I assume so. I also saw someone on Twitter talking about how that you can actually get the haptic vests that simulate G-force.
Really?
Yeah, it's amazing. It really is. I just that's the kind of tech that would make me scared of what if it goes wrong. it just literally crushes you into the chair.
I don't know if I'd want to put something on that has that kind of destructive power.
Yeah.
Right? I don't trust
You'd want to take it off when playing Resident Evil 7 and that.
Tech Noir with the £2 says Miles needs to be careful with the top 30. Be careful.
Yeah, I will be.
I can't. You've turned them against me, Miles. This is not how this show's supposed to go.
Yeah. I'm sorry. But I am going to make a super cut of this afterwards. So
you should be sorry.
Cats. If you can put in the chat afterwards timestamps of all the brilliant car puns.
This is terrible. I don't even know what to say. All right, man. So first and foremost, we want to be very clear about the games we're about to discuss. Jim Ryan, Jimbo, as some of you have referred to him during tonight's show, said there will be over 30 PSVR2 games during the launch window. Miles, what does launch window mean to you? I feel like there's no definite term on this, like definite definition.
So it's a really interesting question because I think it is different to a console launch, because when we were talking about what is the launch window for the PlayStation 5, I said it is up to the point where supply is readily available. You know, that there's no there's no longer a struggle in trying to get one. Mm-hmm. And so I think the launch window for PS5 was actually a 1.5, 2 year period. That's honestly how I feel about it. Obviously, it's not going to be that for PSVR2. What is the launch period? I think you could say, I feel like up to September, maybe, just because I can imagine there'd be announcements going into Christmas.
September?
What do you think? That's too long or too short?
I think it's too long, right? Because I actually personally don't agree with your definition of launch window. My definition of launch window for a normal release,
right? Exactly, and that's why the PS5 was different on that occasion.
Exactly,
and I wouldn't use that for this, but
right. And so, oh crap. This is not what I want to do. So I would say,
I feel like it's the first iteration of games and releases, and I do. You know, there will be games coming out after launch to September, but in terms of like the next iteration of like AAA VR games, mm-hmm. I think that will be September, like that phase, and I would say that's when we're outside the launch window.
Okay, February, March, April, May. See, I was saying like 3 or 4 months, like roughly.
Okay,
right?
Yeah,
and I really don't think that we have a good idea of what to expect past those 3 or 4 months. Like we know some games that are kind of nebulous as far as their release dates go. Firewall Ultra, that could very well be a holiday 2023 game. That could release in the summer. That could be 2024. We really don't know, right? They have not been very clear about that. And so there's games like that are just nebulous that we can't really include in this discussion. However, we're going to include launch window games that should be coming out within the first 3.5, maybe 4 months. Like we're really 4 months is going to be our cutoff here, and that's why we have a ton of games on this list. And Nick Mule says the launch greenhouse, which is fine too. However we want to do this. So let's start off, man. I'm gonna go full screen here, and I'm going to bring up a list of games. That's not a list of games. Let's go to this list. There it is. Okay. So we're going to go through and talk about each one of these games. We're going to kind of like give our excitement about it in terms of a rating, 1 to 5 stars, and then you will know Miles and Brian's combined excitement for the game on a 1 to 10 scale. Let's kick it off, man. Cities VR. This is by being released by Fast Travel Games. It's a city builder. Big fan of this style of game or what?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it because the last proper city building game I played was probably SimCity 2000, like old school, and I used to love it. And I think there's a lot of genres of games where I don't keep up with them again and again, but to experience that in VR, I'm looking forward to it. So in terms of ratings is like how excited we are, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I would say for this, I would. Don't want to make it hit the ceiling too early on based on other games.
Right. So, please don't AJ this and make me change the rating in 5 minutes. Yeah. Right. Like,
no, I would put this. We're not doing decimals, no.
No decimals. No.
Okay. Let's do 3. Let's do 3 for now.
I don't know. Maybe we should do decimals. But
3.5.
But only halves, right? Like
yeah, sure.
Right. We can't be 3.2.
Yeah, right. I'll do 3.5.
Okay, that's good. I like that.
Or half, as you say.
Half, 3.5. Would you say half?
Yeah. Half, mate.
Okay.
3.5.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you, man. I do like. I am curious about this because I haven't played a city builder since SimCity. I used to absolutely love these games. Did Mouse just disappear from the screen? What just happened? Are you? Oh wait, you're there. Hold on a second.
Oh no, I have just gone.
Oh no.
I am having.
Oh no. This Be careful what you wish for, folks. I
am. I've been having a bit of issue with my camera the last 24 hours. It cuts out every so often, so I need to just have a look into it.
Okay.
After this show.
All right.
I was probably going to do it again.
Man, I thought I accidentally willed you out of existence from our previous conversation. With cities, yeah. Again, just like you, I haven't played a city builder in a while. I'm slightly less excited, so I'm gonna go down to 3, and that's the extent of that. All right, man. Cosmonious High, by the Job Sim developers Alchemy Labs, looks very much like another Job Sim style game. This time taking place in a high school. What do you think?
So, as a game itself, not that excited, but because it is by the Job Sim people, and I have a big connection with them because Job Sim was one of the first VR games in the modern era that I played. So I will give this. I'll give this a 2.5.
Yeah, I mean, I'll put down your 2.5, but I'm actually really unexcited for this. Right, I have a feeling they're going to make a good game. I have a feeling it's going to be probably, hopefully, just very fun to interact with everything that you find. Unfortunately, this is not a setting I care. This isn't a setting I care about, and I don't know if it's going to have the humor that I really enjoyed from Job Sim. So I'm actually going to go down pretty low on this. Hopefully they can prove me wrong. I'm going to go down to a 1.5. So
1.5. Wow.
1.5. Okay. That's right. How's
my camera's not?
Yeah.
My camera's not going on, so you're just gonna have to deal with me. I need to get you a little cartoon of me to throw up on screen.
Yeah.
If I give you a cartoon of me, will it one of my emojis?
Listen,
will you be able to replace?
While you're not here, Ryan Barron with the $5 tip says, "Do you think Sony will bring about E3/showcases that have a unique VR viewing experience only on PSVR2, or movies to add some VR experiences?" Ryan, let me tell you something. We're very concerned about Sony in these kind of things. They seem so big on events and sporting events and these kind of social interactions, and they've talked a lot about it, especially even during this CES, but not in relation to PSVR 2. So we hope, yes, that all of this stuff is something that they're focused on, but they need to start integrating all of the things from all the different elements of Sony and bring them together into PlayStation VR, because currently they have not done that. So yes, I hope so, but no, I'm not hopeful. Hope that's a good answer. Staring at a black screen with Miles, just nowhere to be found.
I've sent you one of my emojis from my YouTube channel that you can throw up on screen over that.
Yeah, no, because I'm certainly not doing anything else over here.
Demeo.
Talk about Demeo while I try to find your emoji.
Yeah. Table of Tales I loved. A lot of people that have already played Demeo have really bigged it up, which has been great. So I'm really looking forward to this. Oh, man. So for me, this would be a... Man, I already think some of my other ratings have maybe been a bit high. I'll do this as a 4.
Nice. Yeah, 100% with you. I'm giving it a 4. I've played around with this on Quest in multiplayer, and man, it was so much fun. The only thing I didn't like about it was you can move the table upwards, so you can go look straight ahead, but I still found myself looking down. And when I found myself looking down, the Quest is so front heavy that it just doesn't feel terribly good being in the Quest headset for long stretches of time. So I'm excited to play this on, especially with all the features that they've added. 100%. Fantavision.
Fantavision. You go first with this one.
I've played this on PS2. It was.
Oh, you have. Yeah.
Not a fan of this puzzle game, and I hope it's beautiful in the headset. I hope it at least gives us that. But that's I'm gonna say 0.5 just to
yeah. I don't think I'm gonna give anything a 0. I was gonna say 1. I'll give it a 0.5 because I definitely think it's one of the lowest on my list.
Yeah, I think it's one of the lowest on my list too. All right, man. We just talked about Gran Turismo. We talked about it a little bit. But I'm guessing this is one of your higher rated games.
It is. I mean, it's going to be I'm going to say it's a 4. Like, in terms of how excited I am, I know with Demeo alongside it, but I think it is in that ballpark. I think it's going to be an exceptional experience, but it's like, I'm not massively into driving games generally. I'm definitely going to play it, but there's going to be other games that are going to be in that 4.5 to 5. So, yeah, I'll give this a 4.
Okay, nice. So, again, just trying to bring up your the image that you sent me, and not really good able to do that on the spot as well as I was hoping. So it's just me staring at a blank screen. So lovely. What would you say if you said 4 for this one? Nice.
Yeah, 4 for this one.
4 for Gran Turismo?
Yeah.
All right. So this is going to be one of my highest rated ones. Like I said, I'm looking into buying like a full wheel setup, like the whole cage, like pedals, shifter, everything. I want to mount a camera to the front of it so you guys can like be there in the cockpit with me while I'm going and getting my super boring licenses and stuff. Like, I am for somebody who doesn't care usually about sim racers, I'm giving this a 5.
And I totally understand and respect that.
Yeah. I feel like this is going to be my No Man's Sky. You know, AJ talks about spending 1,000 hours or however many hours it has been over the last generation with No Man's Sky in VR, just like plugging away here, plugging away there, upgrading this, upgrading that. You know, just like anytime you have a free hour, jumping in and playing a little bit more. I want this to be my No Man's Sky for this generation. I want to be playing it for years, and apparently, I'm going to be able to with the number of hours that it's going to take to unlock everything. It's like something like 10,000 hours or something if you don't want to pay the microtransactions, which is, you know, I'm sure I will pay money here and there to buy the cars that I want. It'll.
Yeah, I've literally given it enough time to hopefully cool down. I'm genuinely going to try and contact Sony tomorrow and ask about this camera, because it's one of those things where things sometimes go wrong technically, but it puts you on edge when you're trying to live stream. Yeah. And you think, oh, it could go off any moment now, and it's a big new investment. So they say it's to prevent it from overheating as one risk, but I'm holding it and it's not that hot, so it's probably just some of the cables that need redoing. I don't know. Yeah, is the honest answer. Yeah, the image I tried to bring up is just absolutely totally broken. it's I don't know if we're ever going to see the emoji of you on screen. Although if it breaks down one more time, I might try to bring it up one more time. All right, man. We're only 6 games in, so we got to chug along. We got Kayak VR Mirage. I know you can compare to Gran Turismo 7, but for me, this is a 4.5. This is, again, I'm just leaving the 5 for, you know, a game that really strikes out. But yeah, it's a 4.5. I'm really, really excited about this one. So I will say that I've heard a lot of people be excited about this. I heard a lot of people say that they're going to, you know, this is one of their must-have launch games. It's right there next to like Horizon and Resident Evil Village. And we just heard from, who was it earlier in the show, who said this is one of his top 5 that he really wants to get. So I totally respect that. However, for me, I have a feeling this is going to be something I jump into, I play for an hour, and potentially never go back to. And knowing that it's pretty light on content, and until I really know what the multiplayer is going to encompass when they finally add the full multiplayer mode. For me, I'm a little lighter on this one, and I'm going to call it a 3. Right. Okay. All right. Another big one. We got Horizon Call of the Mountain. This is a 1. A 5, Brian. It's a 5. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 Horizon. Yeah. Okay. Good. And it is, and all the concerns people have expressed about, you know, the fighting mechanics and stuff, all of that I totally get, and I think could be a risk. Mm-hmm. But Sony is putting this front and center with Guerrilla Games and Fire Sprite. Yeah. They're putting this front and center, so that is a statement, and I think for that reason, we should all be very, very excited about this. Yeah, I think that. And sorry, what did you give it a 5? Yeah. Okay. I think that any concerns that we have are just really maybe overblown. Right here we are. We're gonna have one of the most beautiful VR games ever made. It has absolutely been designed to take full advantage of the adaptive triggers and haptics in the headset and make sure that you experience everything that this new headset has to offer. And
I just think the experience of going through this is going to be one of the most amazing from visual and immersive feelings that we've ever had in VR. And I can't take that lightly. Even Wes, during his short demo, said he saw multiple paths. There's a lot to explore, and I'm like, that is what I want to do. Combat, I'm sure, is going to be great. Despite some limitations, I can't wait to explore and craft and see what all these systems are really about. Hopefully, it doesn't let me down. Giving it a 5. Resident Evil Village.
5 again.
Okay, that was really in depth.
I actually on launch rented Resident Evil Village and I sent it back straight away because I was like, as soon as I got it and I was going on to another game, I thought this has to be a PSVR2 thing they're going to do. How could they do it for number 7 and then not do it after the success of the VR?
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been looking forward to this for a very long time.
I've held off for so long. Resident Evil 7 was my most played game last gen. I beat it 7 or 8 times. I beat it. I rolled credits at least 2 more times after platinuming it. I unlocked everything there was to unlock. I did everything there was to do. Absolutely love Resident Evil 7. And so I tried to not know anything about Resident Evil 8. And if it's even remotely close to 7, it's a 5. Easy. All right, so here's Saints and Sinners 2. This has a release date of May something or another. So this is one of those where, no, not May, March. March? Fuck me. What was it?
I think it was March.
Yeah. Just don't want to. This is absolutely not a launch day game. I just want to make sure that we are all on the same page. Again, we were talking about launch windows earlier. So let me just. Saints, Sinners. Retribution Chapter 2 pre-order. Here it is on the store. March 21st. So absolutely within the launch window. It comes out just a month after, literally a month after PSVR 2. What's your anticipation on this one, Miles?
Man, so straight away, I just now want to knock things down like 1 point below. I'm going to say this is a 4.5. Like, I am really looking forward to it, but again, just against others. And the other reason I think, although Resident Evil Village would go against this, is like Horizon Resident Evil Village. I want to go in there and just know what does this feel like straight away. Saints and Sinners 2, like the first game, is going to be a game you just want to spend hours and hours and hours in. So for me, I just know that it's going to be one of the first games that I fully play. I actually think it's going to be one of the first games I actually go to completion with. But in terms of like at the moment, I'm just thinking about day one. What am I most excited to jump in straight into? It's definitely going to be a day one game, just compared to Horizon and Resident Evil. Those ones I'm going to be jumping to first.
I'm so happy this is not a launch title. That's all I got to say is because, hoping.
Oh yeah, for that reason as well. Yeah.
Yeah, hoping a month after launch, I'm actually getting closer to, getting caught up on, a lot of the launch games, and so I'll be excited that something new is coming out. Having played, the Quest version, which had a rough launch, I did not play it after it got fixed up. I was like, okay, I need to play this on PSVR 2. I'm glad I stopped where I did, and but as somebody who just said regarding Horizon, I can't wait to explore and craft and upgrade shit. Like, I mean, that's what Saints and Sinners is so good at. It's all about exploration. It's all about crafting. It's all about survival. And I'm like, I think I'm excited to do that on PSVR 2. I'm with you, 4.5.
I'm happy just to delve into a few of these games on the list because I know we're going to be quick about the others, just the ones that deserve a bit more conversation. But with Saints and Sinners 2 and the first one, it is the perfect example of a game that deserves PSVR 2 because of the limitations of PSVR. I mentioned on last week's show that there is a barrier to non-gamers or people not familiar with VR showing them particular games. It's like Rush of Blood, 2 guns, 2 hands, sorted. Any game that requires you to move around, I've done it with Saints and Sinners, with non-VR gamers, non-gamers at all, and they kind of get it.
Yeah.
But when they've only got like an hour in the headset, because then they're probably going to feel like I need a break now, I'm not used to this. There's other experiences that are going to be much quicker, whereas Saints and Sinners, you really need to live in it. But because you're having to use the move buttons, the fact that on the PSVR 2, you're now going to have joysticks, it's going to be better at tracking, which the game deserves. I'm so excited to show people the first one as well. On PSVR2.
Yeah.
And yeah, just so excited for that.
Yeah. For a game that's not a full-fledged sequel, it is Chapter 2. It's more of the same, except everything is bigger and better, right? The benches, you walk around the upgrade benches, you end up in the exact same place that you started the first game in, right? Like where the school bus and your benches and your upgrade systems and stuff. But then you walk through the school bus, and behind that there's more upgrade benches, and you go down the stairs, and there's like it's everything times 2 or times 3, which is fine, right, for a Chapter 2. And it seems like they're pricing it accordingly. But on top of that, like when we get the PSVR 2 upgrade visuals, I feel like that alone, along with the gameplay upgrades, are going to make it feel like more of a sequel than even Skydance intends, right? Because we are going from PSVR 1 to PSVR 2. For anyone who played Saints and Sinners Chapter 1 on PC, maybe Chapter 2 won't feel like that much of an upgrade when they play it on PC again, right? Or maybe everyone who played it on plays Chapter 1 on Quest and then plays Chapter 2 on Quest. That won't feel like a big upgrade. But for the rest of us who are going from PSVR 1 to PSVR 2, it's going to feel like a pretty big upgrade. Paradise Decay in the chat with the 2 quid says, Kayak VR was his game of the year for 2022. Well, that should tell you something about 2022. Fuck that year. Glad it's done. Bury that shit. Stike Gamer, the VRAF Game Cat, with the €5, says, too bad both of you will have to redo your list after the State of Play that aired in the next few weeks. Yeah.
I'll happily do it.
Happily do it. Star Wars.
Because you know what?
Yeah.
I will give Spider-Man 2, The Last of Us, all of those games.
4.5.
Destiny 2, I'll give them 6 out of 5 for excitement.
We're gonna break the list. Yeah, we're gonna break the scale. Star Wars: Tales from the Galaxy's Edge.
See, I'm now looking at what I've given other games already. I mean,
you were overthinking this already.
Yeah,
too much.
I know. I'm gonna give it a 3, and it's just because I've heard a lot of people talking about playing it already, going, "Yes, all right, it's just like a port from a pre-existing game."
Yep.
I'm excited to be in the Star Wars world, but yeah, it's not compared to everything else. I'd give it a 3.
I'm giving it a 2 because I've heard from multiple people this is not as good as even Vader Immortal, and Vader Immortal was good. You know, right? I gave like an 8 or something, and
put it as a 2 for me then.
We're changing your score already. Seconds later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're having a discussion. Yeah, that straight away impacts it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know. I'm not super excited about it, and I've also heard that like it's just kind of like mindless. You get to shoot some stuff. So anyway, so we're gonna move on. Switchback.
It's a 5. This was like, I just felt there had to be a rush of blood. They must be doing something behind the scenes, a rush of blood, like even an upgraded version. I still feel like that's coming. It better, especially considering, right? Yeah.
Especially considering it doesn't fucking work on PlayStation 5.
I was about to say, when it comes up with all the features for the PSVR2 version, it will say,
works.
It works. Works. Doesn't... anti-auto pause. Technology.
Yeah. Switchback, we're giving it a 5. I'm also going to give it a 5. Dude, again, I say this over and over. It's the game that we never should have gotten. Like, there's just no chance in hell that this ever should have existed. We really thought that Supermassive was done with VR. They are not doing this time because Sony asked them to, right? So they worked with Sony to make Rush of Blood 1, right? So Until Dawn is a Sony franchise, Sony property. So they asked Supermassive Games to make Rush of Blood. Supermassive is doing this game because they're passionate about it, because they want to. And man, I can't wait to see what this new passion brings to PSVR 2. The don't blink mechanic alone.
Yes.
Man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have like duct tape holding my eyes open. Be like, don't do it. I wonder if you can make it through the whole section without blinking. How long can you go without blinking?
Yeah, the promo is like just see blood running down the headset.
Right?
Yeah.
Tentacular.
Yeah, from Devolver Digital.
Yeah.
Man. I mean, man, I'm gonna give this a. I'll give it a 2.5.
Yeah.
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 Like, I don't think it's going to be a bad game. It's just in the grand scheme of things, there's other games I'm more excited for.
Okay. I don't think it's gonna be a bad game either. I'm actually oddly curious about this because I have a feeling that you're this big monster that's gonna scare the villagers, and then they're like, oh, but he's a friendly monster. He's gonna help the villagers, and so it's like this outsider trying to help. And I don't know. I feel like there's a potential here for a really emotional story to be told, and I don't know if that's what they're gonna do with this or not because I've been avoiding the reviews on other platforms. So I'm like oddly hopeful for this one. And I'm giving it a 2.5. Doesn't mean I'm not excited. It just means that like I'm just hopeful. Probably more hopeful than most. Jay with the $5 tip says, do you think that Gran Turismo 7 was built with PSVR 2 in mind, and that's why the levels are decent in quality but not top notch? Is that what people are saying about Gran Turismo 7? I want to hear in the comments from people who've played Gran Turismo 7 on PS5. I've heard that it's beautiful. It's a stunning looking game. Is that not the case? I don't know. I do believe, yes, that it was built with VR in mind, especially after Gran Turismo Sport.
Undead Citadel, Brian.
Hard to keep your expectations in check on this one. This is a game that we've been hearing about for 4+ years.
I know. It's been a long time coming. And does that build the excitement or lessen it? For me, I mean, you go first this time. We should alternate who goes first.
Oh, okay. Well, then you have to keep track of...
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I'll do that.
Okay, because, I have no idea. So this game is the thing. It seems like the thing that I want Swordsman to be, right? Like, I want Swordsman 2 to be this awesome melee combat game, but with the levels that you actually go through and bosses and, and items that you find and health potions and the whole, because I'm just not like a battle arena fighter guy, right? I'm not an arena dude. Like Gorn was fine, but I don't like arenas, So
I want Swordsman developers to get the rights to Golden Axe and use their tech to do Golden Axe VR. That would just be the dream. That
would be an amazing dream. So this thing's been in development for so long, though, that like part of me goes, well, they've been taking their time. They made sure they're doing everything right. They're not talking unless they feel like talking. I really respect that from developers. I was like, don't promise what you can't deliver. And so, like, I mean, I think this is maybe higher than it should be on my list, but I'm giving it a 4.5 because I'm excited. I'm excited. That's what it is, right? I don't know if the game's going to be good, but I'm fucking excited as hell to play it. And I played the Horde mode on PC, the demo, and it felt really good and it looked beautiful.
Yeah, I'm going to give this a 4. From seeing all the trailers and that, it looks like there's a lot of I don't know how the best way to put it into words. There seems to be a lot of weight with the movement, like the impact, and I think that with the haptics is going to be really, really great. So. Although I'm not over the moon about it, it's definitely a game I can't wait to experience and get a sense of how this feels. So yeah, I'd give that a 4.
Give it a 4. All right, man. That moves us on to this whole next section. Everything that you see in capital letters here. These are games that are on PSVR 1 or are going to be on PSVR 1 with a PSVR 2 upgrade. That does not mean a free upgrade. Some of these games you will be charged for again. Some of them will be a free upgrade. Some of them will have an upgrade charge to upgrade. So starting with 2MD VR Football, the developers over at Truant Pixel gave us a rundown. Gave us a rundown recently and basically said, we're giving you the sequel. The sequel that we made is way better than the original game, and we're going to give you that for like a $3 or $4, something like that, upgrade charge, and then you get the sequel on PSVR 2 instead of the original if you bought it.
Hand Egg VR is getting a 1 out of 5 from me, just because I still have no idea what the game is and how it works, and if you get commercials into your VR headset every like 1 minute while they reset the ball. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that.
I what game are we talking about? Are we talking
VR football? 2MD, aren't we?
Yeah, is that a thing?
What a thing?
Anything that you just said.
Hand egg.
What is hand egg?
Isn't that's what we call American football? Because you hand an egg. You don't kick it with your foot for the most of it. It is American football game, right?
Yes. Whew. My goodness.
It's a 1, Brian. It's a 1 out of 5.
All right, it's a 1 out of 5. Fucking Brits. I'm just not a sports fan, man. I'm not a sports fan. I did enjoy 2MD VR football on PlayStation VR 1 because they kind of made it easy for people like me who don't care that much about football. You know, you don't have to create your own plays or stuff if you don't want to do any of that. So unfortunately, this has nothing to do with the game. This is a personal excitement level 1.5.
I genuinely would have given it a higher rating if it was actually called Hand Egg VR because I'm like, oh, they're self-aware.
Yeah,
fair play.
I will tell you that a lot of people in the chat right now are going to be mad because 2MD is a great game and the sequel is even better. Like the new animations, the new characters, everything. But you just know. Oh, Aceful says 2. I feel better now. Okay.
And also with these ratings, just to be clear, this is not about the quality of the game. It's just about how we feel about it, and that's just my honest truth. Like, I'm sure it's going to be a good game, and I will, give it a go. And I might be like #1 hand egg fan in the UK. That might happen. So stay tuned. After the fall, Brian, you go first with this one.
Yeah, I mean, strangely, I'm going to give it a 3 because I had a little bit of fun with it on PSVR 1, and I just really want everything about it to be better. So we're going to get the definitive edition. There's going to be more content by the time this thing rolls around. So I'll be very happy to go back to it and give it another shot. 3. Free upgrade.
This is one of those games where I have a love-hate relationship with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's that whole frustration of I want it to be more. This is so much potential. And I actually feel like in terms of jumping in, I'm between a 4 and a 4.5.
Whoa.
I know. I'm going to give it a 4.
Wow.
Honestly, and it's that excitement factor to it. I just, if they nail it with PSVR 2, then I'm going to have a great time of it. Because I do feel like with some of the limitations, the sort of stop motion stuttering of the enemies and that, like the actual animations of them moving were great. It was just so juttery, and I think that is because of the limitations of the tech. So PSVR 2 could be brilliant for that.
Yeah. Alvo, you're first.
Oh, you're first this time.
I'm first.
Oh no, it is me first.
You first. You have one job, Miles. One job.
Yeah, I know. One job, man. I'm gonna give this a 4.5. Just really looking forward to getting stuck in with it. Alvo, I was quite late to the party with, and I've had the best time with it. And every time I go on it, I have a really good time. I've always loved the game.
Yeah.
So yeah, 4.5.
Alvo's a tough one for me, right? Because like I'm so looking forward to like the later in the summer game Crossfire Sierra Squad, right? Because that's what I want to do, jump in, play first person shooter, campaign based stuff. And so Alvo's tough. But I'm going to say a 3 because I'm very curious to see what they're going to do. I've always had fun when I jump into Alvo, even when the Halloween zombies mode, it was a little janky, but I still had fun with it. Every time I jumped in, and I kept wanting to like get further and find the secrets and stuff. So, yeah, it's all about having fun. I'm giving it a 3. Cave Digger 2. This is Cave Digger 2. Dig Harder. I think I go first this time.
You go first.
Yeah. I really gave up on this one. I probably put 6 or 7 hours into the PlayStation VR 1 version. It was, man, so many bugs, so many issues. Some of them were because of my friends list, apparently, according to the developers.
Popular.
I was experiencing problems that other people weren't experiencing, and so I'm just really hoping I get a better experience this time around. Other people I was playing with were having even crazier issues than I was though. And so like, Jay Meow got a table stuck in his chest and like had to walk around with a table stuck in his chest like for the rest of the level, and it was driving him insane. So Cave Digger for me is like it's like a 2 because I love the concept, but I just don't know how much I'm going to care by the time PSVR 2 rolls around.
Yeah, I'm on the final area in that game.
The new is there a new area, right, that they added?
Oh, I don't know if I've played since then. So there are 4. There are 4. The fourth one I'm on is where I think there's like lightning, and it's like you're on top of a mountain, and it's very grey.
Oh.
I'm having a really good time with it, but there are bugs, as you say. And again, kind of like After the Fall, it's a game that I'm really looking forward to seeing with the tech. Because also, when it comes to next-gen tech, and this isn't a criticism of the devs and that, it's not that it just raises the ceiling, it also raises the floor, that there are issues that are exacerbated because of the limitations of PSVR, whereas with the new tech and all the bandwidth you get with graphics and processing power, hopefully it will help fix a lot of those things. So for this, I would give it I'm going to give it a 3.5. 3.5. Yeah.
Nice. Dropship Commander. Did you play? Oh, did you play this on PSVR 1?
I did. Man, I was really liking it to begin with, and then I was getting very frustrated because it's a hard game.
Sure.
And the change the camera angle that you look underneath is kind of really cool, but just really not practical. And I'm not sure how I feel about this. So I'm still playing it at the moment, but I'm probably going to give it a 1.5. Like, yeah, just in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
It's there's nothing that the PSVR 2 is going to do that's going to make me appreciate it more than it currently is. It's a great arcade game. This is in VR, and I like what they've done with it. But I just feel like PSVR 2, it's not going to be much of a jump. That's how I feel.
You 100% took the words out of my mouth. I don't know what PSVR 2 could do to make this game more fun for me or make me go back and want to play it more. And that's what this list is all about. It's a good arcade game, but I'm like, I will have beaten it by the time the PSVR 2 version comes out, and I'm not going to experience anything better, right? Because I almost never even use the first person mode in this because it makes it way harder. So I am gonna say a 1 because I don't see myself going back to this.
The only thing they could do on the PSVR 2 version that would make it better is you're in VR, you're looking at the planet, but then you look around you and it's kind of like it just goes off, like the map stops. If with all the tech you were actually on a planet and you looked as far as you could see, that'd be really, really cool. But it's not going to really budge the score for me. Unless they want to put something in the chat now. So yeah, we're doing it.
Jabiblic Blespidoo with the $2 tip says only 66,514 minutes. 66,514 minutes to happy PSVR 2 year. Yes, that was a Ren reference. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. I like that.
Where are we at? Hello Neighbor. Hello Neighbors.
Uh,
Search and not destroy. Search and what is it called? No, nobody knows. There's no way to find out. Search and rescue. Search and rescue. You got to rescue all the kids in the Who's going first? Me. So I've heard great things about the flat screen versions of these games. This is a new adventure. The second one seems like it's a super short game, like an hour long or 2 hours long or something like that. I heard that pretty quickly after Hello Neighbor 2 came out. So I'm concerned about the length of this game. However, I've heard it's actually kind of scary despite the art style. So playing it in VR and being scared of a Jack-like character coming after you, I don't know, man. 2.5, I guess. Can't rate it too highly. Maybe it'll be good.
Yeah, do you know, if it wasn't using a mechanic that is the thing I hate most in VR or just games generally, which is someone that's constantly trying to hunt you down, and they're going to pop up when you least suspect it. That's my excitement. I am looking forward to finally experiencing this game, but in VR it's going to be terrifying. So I'm going to give it a 3.
That's good.
Give it a 3.
Dude, we're gonna make you play so many horror games over the next. few years.
No, I'm down for it, man. It's gonna be great. It's gonna make great live streams.
Yeah. All right, man. Honor and Duty, or I'm sorry, D-Day Enhanced. We should probably change the title of this to D-Day Enhanced because I think they're dropping the Honor and Duty thing. What do you think?
I'm really looking forward to it. I would give it a 4.
Yeah. I think the immediate reaction would be that we're overscoring this one, but I don't.
As long as Sony have sold over 64 headsets at launch,
Right. We got to be able to fill the lobby. Yeah, yeah, dude. D-Day was so much fun. Like, it was so much fun on PSVR1 that there was just no other game you could get that many players into that worked that seamlessly. And so because of that alone, and because it's a free upgrade, like, I don't think I would go back to D-Day if they weren't making all these enhancements. But knowing that we can play with so many more players, and that they've made all these improvements, I'm gonna go 3.5. I was close. I wanted to say 4, but I'm going 3.5. Job Simulator. We're assuming, by the way, that it'll be around launch. They're saying early 2023 for this and Vacation Sim.
Emotional connection to this because my first experience in modern VR era, as I mentioned earlier, was on the HTC Vive where my brother bought it and took it to my parents at Christmas. And I remember just being in the opening and looking around the menu, and this sense of presence blew my mind. So I'm kind of looking forward to playing it just because of that reason. I've got an emotional connection with it. I'm not going to play it a lot, so I'm going to give it a 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to give this a 0.5. Nope. I'm going to give this a 0 because I have.
An absolute 0.
I platinumed this game. I played the crap out of it. I did everything there was to do on PSVR1. I have zero reason to go back to it. Was it going to be like, higher resolution visuals? I mean,
and haptics when you're flipping the burgers.
I kind of don't give a fuck, man. Like, I always thought Job Sim was overrated. I always thought it got way too much credit. And there it was, topping the charts month after month after month, year after year after year on PSVR1. Always thought it got way too much credit. Yes, it's a great first game in VR, but you know what? I've played 500 games in VR. I don't need this to be my 501st game in VR.
But then you want to get the platinum, Brian.
Okay, it's a 2. No, it's a 0. I have zero desire to go back to it. If there is a new trophy list, then I'll fucking blast through it to get the platinum. But that is,
well, there you go.
It's still a 0.
That's a 0.5 then.
Shockingly, Kizuna AI Touch looks like a terrible rhythm game. If you guys are not familiar with this, it was one of the ones that they listed during their 5 indie games that are coming to PSVR2. This is a launch title. I'm giving it a 0. I really just don't care. I already played too many Hatsune Miku games on PSVR1. I don't know what Kizuna AI is. I don't need to know what Kizuna AI is. I'm fucking done. Done with this. I'm done with this.
Brian, this will be my first. I said I wasn't going to give a 0, but for this, I'm giving it a 0.
Mark in the chat asked, "What's Kizuna?" Let me see if I have a trailer so I can just here. Kizuna AI Touch the beat. Let me.
Oh, actually, it's a 4. No, I can't think of anything worse.
Finally, you can meet Kizuna AI in virtual space. This is so Japanese. It's not even funny. And I love Japanese stuff. I just don't love this kind of Japanese stuff.
If Beat Saber wasn't coming out,
Beyond Dimensions. Sorry, I'm going to do this every time.
I might give this a 3, but this is it. It's a 0. It's a 0.
This is what Kizuna AI Touch the beat is. The stage appears in front of you. It's my best anime voiceovers that I can do.
I actually think this might be the PSVR2 title.
You are always in the front row here.
The most.
Look, this is Touch the beat and yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. There's so many rhythm games. That this is Beat Saber. This is Beat Saber. Anybody in the chat looking at this going, yeah, easy 5. Anybody? Cheer her on from the closest place.
Brian, 0. Let's move.
Okay.
Let's move on, please.
Okay. Very sorry. Okay, let's move on. Kizuna AI Touch the beat, 0.
Sorry, does 0 just mean we're not excited at all? What if we're actually repulsed by it? Is that go minus?
Yeah, I mean, sadly, I think 0 is the lowest we can go.
Yeah.
The Light Brigade. The Light Brigade. Okay. What do you think?
This is the roguelite shooter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious about it. I don't know a lot other than what we've seen, but man, I would put this as maybe a 3. Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like it could be a bit higher, but like when I think like compared to everything else, it's a 3.
yeah. Light Brigade is, I don't know, man. Like the problem is for me is actually the visuals. It just does not look super appealing. I love roguelites, persistence, in death. I'm trying to think of other ones. Until You Fall. All great. The visuals here just don't work for me at all. I'm really hoping that the gameplay loop is more exciting than the visuals. I'm gonna give it a 2. So you said 3. I'm really hoping that it turns out to be a great game because I do love roguelites. All right.
Yeah.
We're combining Moss Book 1 and 2 here because I'm assuming that if you haven't bought it already, you're going to buy the bundle on PSVR2. The bundle, just let's keep this in mind, you guys. The bundle is $40. Moss Book 2 alone on PSVR2 was $40. Did I get the price right? $40 for the bundle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I think you're right.
So 40, maybe with a discount. I forget how it goes. But yeah. How excited are you?
Excited's not the right word for me with this, but I am looking forward to it. I stopped playing Moss Book 2 because I thought I want to experience at least something new from this for PSVR 2, and I had a sense that they were going to be bringing it across. So, I would put this as, oh man, I'm just like looking at what other games it's going to fall alongside if I say this. It's a 3.5.
Whoa. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. But then I'm looking at Cave Digger and I'm like, no, I do. I'm definitely more. Actually, I don't know. Like, they're different games, but they're games we played already. Yeah, 3.5.
Okay. Yeah. Unfortunately, I played Moss Book 1 a bunch of times. I played Moss Book 2 1.5 times, I think. I forget how that went. And they are great games. They're beautiful games. I've already played them, and I feel like I've gotten everything that I want to out of them. So from a personal standpoint, not a reflection on the game itself, I got to say like 1.5. Like this is, I'm very, very happy for everyone who hasn't played them yet that they're going to get an amazing version. Not for me though. No Man's Sky. Let me kick this off, Miles, because I'm known around here as the resident No Man's Sky hater, right? It doesn't have the campaign I'm looking for. Everyone's going, it does have a campaign. I know, I'm aware, right? But it's a lot. It's a lot. And people are like, oh, Brian, you only spent 30 hours with the game. You haven't even scratched the surface, which is a problem for me as well, right? I don't want to just be getting started at the 30-hour mark. However, I mentioned earlier that Gran Turismo, I want to be my No Man's Sky throughout the course of this generation. I wouldn't mind that No Man's Sky also be my No Man's Sky this generation.
It's your GT7.
This could be my Gran Turismo 7.
Yeah.
Finally, this is the game I've been waiting for, Miles. I want to spend hundreds of hours in this game over the course of the next few years. And because of the huge visual upgrade and everything that they're going to do to this thing, I got to say, man, like my hype level is pretty high for this. I'm going to give it a 4.5. Pretty high.
Yeah, that's great. Mine is a 5 simply because ever since they brought it out for PSVR, I thought, and the track record they've had of constantly updating it, there's a real sense that they work closely with Sony.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of the first to get a PS5 upgrade. It was free. They have not slowed down with the updates. They just keep coming and they keep on. And the updates aren't just about adding stuff into the sandbox. It's also upgrading the fidelity. Yeah. That was a real sense we got with like games like GTA Online. GTA Online eventually got to a point where, they're adding all this great stuff, but it feels like the world is now being suffocated because they're just adding all these modes on and like new vehicles and stuff without updating like the game itself. They obviously did the enhanced and expanded edition. That wasn't enough to get me back in. But because of that trajectory with No Man's Sky and what Hello Games have done, I've always felt like I can't wait to play this on next generation hardware, and PSVR 2 is a 5.
It's a great explanation. I 100% agree with everything that you said.
I appreciate that because 20 to 1 in the morning, I have no idea what I just said.
Okay, perfect. Pistol Whip is next. Talk to me, man. You go first this time.
Okay, so, and I always feel weird, like now having these conversations, hosting this show because I know devs do watch, and you know, I know, and it doesn't change my opinion because I am going to be.
So I do want to say, Miles, I love the challenge. Right when we're sitting here knowing full well that both members of Strange Game Studios are watching, and we have to say Dropship Commander. 1 out of 5, right? I love the challenge of making sure that we're always honest, that we're keeping ourselves honest despite the fact that we know people are watching. That being said, I don't know if anyone from Cloudhead is watching, so say whatever the fuck you want.
But it was the real test for this was a recent. I always talk about my friend Johnny, who I play a lot of VR games with. He actually texted me a couple of days ago because Pistol Whip is in the sale, and he said, should I get this for PSVR2? And I said, I would put your money elsewhere.
Whoa.
And just because there's so many titles at launch, and I think that there are lots of games that are being made for PSVR2 that you should jump straight away. This is how I have always felt about Pistol Whip. I love Pistol Whip. I really enjoy it. But with whenever they bring out new modes and stuff, I'll go in and play like an hour or two, if that. But then I don't come back. However, I do think that might change with PSVR2, the haptics and like just the better fidelity. That might change it. But Pistol Whip has always been a game that I've always wanted to love more than I do. And if you ask me to explain the negatives about it, I'd find it really difficult to explain it. I just don't feel it. It's just not a game that I can keep going back to. My camera's gone again. That's them. They've hacked us. They went, shut him up. So, so in a weird way, I am interested in seeing where they go with this. So I'm going to give it a 3.5. But Pistol Whip is a game that I'm just, I'm sad that it's never clicked with me more than I feel it should. Does anyone else feel this way?
I'm sure there's plenty of people that feel that way. Hold on a second. Let me just put your face right here so everyone can. Here we go. There we go. It's like you're right here in the room with me. This is
brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a striking resemblance. So wait, what did you give Pistol Whip? What was your rating?
3.5.
3.5. Excellent. Okay, so I'm sort of with you. But here's what's happening with Pistol Whip for me. Pistol Whip was a game that, every time there was an update, I would go in, I'd play through it, capture some footage for GamesCast, go in and be like, "This, I had so much fun. I love that they added a boss, that they added this, that they blah blah blah, the whole thing, right?" And then not go back to it, and then be like, "Why am I not trying to improve my scores on the songs that I've already completed?" Right? But I'm at this point having a shift. I feel as though I'm shifting away from Beat Saber, Miles, and with that shift, there's got to be a rhythm game that takes its place, and I don't think it's going to be Synth Riders, and I don't think it's going to be Kizuna AI Touch the Beat. I think it might be Pistol Whip, and so because of that, I'm going to give this a 4. We can talk about Saints and Sinners Chapter 1.
Before we do, can I just say one last thing about Pistol Whip?
Of course.
When we talk about this with Synth Riders and like multiplayer, wanting them to bring that on board and, more modes for Beat Saber. I don't know if, I know they have a long, what's it called? Like a roadmap of updates for Pistol Whip. I haven't seen it recently, so feel free to correct me if I'm wrong about this. But I've always wanted them to do like a multiplayer. Like, could you imagine if you're running alongside someone else and you're both shooting the enemies and the bullets are going across both of you? Like, that kind of mode is something that would get me excited on a whole nother level with Pistol Whip.
Yeah.
There's no multiplayer planned, is there? Currently. Announced anything? No.
I don't believe that. I do not believe so. No. Somebody in the chat said Moss Book 1 and 2 for PSVR2. Yep. It's on the store right now. Yeah. You can pre-order it right now. It'll be ready for launch. All sorts of improvements. So Mr. X says all of these are launch titles. So I know that we've had a long show, and that most of you have not been here since the beginning. We're doing launch and launch window, and so the launch window we decided is roughly 3 months or so, and we are fairly certain that most of these games will be there within the launch window. Most of these are launch games. A few will be launch window. Yep. Saints and Sinners Chapter 1. This is interesting. I've started Saints and Sinners Chapter 1 up recently, again, from scratch, the beginning. And it's really good, Miles. It's really good. And so despite the fact that I've done everything and I've gotten the Platinum Trophy, this is one of those rare exceptions where it's like I want to go back and play a game again just because it's fun. Not because I haven't gotten the trophies or not because I haven't done it, just because it's fun. And so I might want to do a run through of this on PSVR2 right before I play Chapter 2 on PSVR2. I have no idea, right? So like, I don't know. I'm actually strangely excited about this upgrade. 3.5.
I am too. What did I give Saints and Sinners 2? Did I give it 4.5?
No, there's no way to tell. You gave it a 4.5.
Oh, man. It's super close. Man, I'll give it a 4. And the reason I'm struggling is like I'm tempted to give it a 4.5, but I'm like Saints and Sinners 2. I'm definitely more interested, but like
because
they are
new.
On par,
right?
Because
right. Yeah. The only reason Saints and Sinners 1 isn't like a 5 for me is because I've already played through the entire game twice, so I don't need to play through it a third time. But it's so good that I'm gonna do it at some point. All right, man. Yeah. This is a big one for me. Song in the Smoke. Talk to me.
Really, really excited for this. I've played not a huge amount of it. Again, because I was just having a feeling of like games that could possibly get a PSVR2 version, and I'm really, really excited about this. I'm gonna say, oh man, and especially after the news we had recently, I'm gonna give this a 4.5.
Okay. Sorry, more sirens on my end. No surprises there. Okay, so this is interesting because, Jake Kasdal gave us a quote and said it doesn't even compare. The PC VR version doesn't even compare to what you're about to get on PSVR 2. He said that they've been listening to feedback from gamers and trying to implement the things that we wanted. And dude, I'm going to say 5 right now because I'm super excited, but it's very possible that they give us something that's a little too similar to the thing we already played, because in my head, I'm like, they're going to let us jump, like actually jump, like with a jump button and grab onto a ledge and pull ourselves up. Because right now it's all this teleportation method. In my head, they're like going to really, really deliver. But if we see a trailer for PSVR 2 and it's still the same teleportation mechanic, this is going to fall significantly. I'm still going to be really excited to play it again because the crafting was so amazing, and it does kind of feel like every time you play it, it's a little bit of a different story that you encounter for yourself. But yeah, I got to give this a 5 just because this game was one of my favorite games on the PSVR 1 generation, and I can't wait to see the changes that they make. Startenders. I got to be honest. I got to go first. Yeah. I got to be honest.
Yeah.
Didn't love this. I did have major tracking problems with this game, which is why a review is not out. I didn't want to be unfair. I want to make sure that my tracking is settled before I review this thing properly. I want to play a superior version of this game where there's no tracking issues. Oh, hey, wait, Miles is back. Here, hold on, let me get rid of that. Boom. Hey, hi, how you doing? And so I'm not excited to play it, but I am excited to have a good version of it. So I'm gonna give it a 2.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this game. Maybe it's because it's been quite a dry year for games, but I had a really good time with it. Tracking issues, yes, and I think it comes down to the hardware. It's not a complete excuse because some games have managed to do it better, but those issues are clearly going to be rectified with the PSVR 2 controls and that. I'd like to think.
We do have some privy information here in the chat from Nice and Crispy, one of the developers. Says the PS5 version comes with a nice chunk of quality of life and progression changes. Sockets on the bar taps, just for you, Brian.
Amazing.
Yep. See? The squeaky wheel.
And nice and crispy, we're going to go out for a beer.
Wait.
He's just down the road from me.
No way.
Yeah.
All right.
I really enjoyed this game. I wish there was more endgame stuff, but there are more things coming.
What did you give it? Oh, you didn't give it. Okay, sorry.
I haven't given it yet. I would give this a. Oh man, I'm gonna give it a 3.5. I feel like a 3.75, but 3.5. I am looking forward to jumping back into it. Just because I think a lot of the concerns I had were because of what PSVR is. And again, that's not always the reason completely, but yeah, I enjoyed it.
We got Suicide Guy here. Suicide Guy came to PSVR last year, somewhere. I don't know. Major problems, frame rate issues, just control problems. It was kind of a mess. And for a game that...
Isn't it just called Guy now?
I think they changed it to The Guy, and then I think the ultimate title will be Sleeping Guy VR.
Sleeping Guy. Okay,
yeah.
Interesting.
Major problems. I know I'm going first again, but I want this. I want this game. This has so much potential. I know there's a lot of love for it on the flat screen, and I kind of love the creative puzzles. I'm going to give it a 2 because like I want to see a good version of this game. And I know that sounds like a low rating, but you know I've already kind of played through it, so you know.
Yeah. I've platinumed the first the 2 games. The second one feels like more of a DLC. And yeah, they're like fun, wacky worlds. And I actually was very disappointed when I saw your review of the VR version, because I was like, I'd like to experience this. So if they fix all that stuff, I'll give it a 2.
All right, real quick. I got to get caught up on 2 tips here. Wally is now a game cat, specifically a white tiger with a Canadian $2 tip, says, Brian, please do a live unboxing for your PSVR 2. Sure.
With gloves.
Maybe.
The white gloves.
Oh,
you know. Yeah.
I like that idea. Yeah, I've got a lot of plans for the PSVR 2 launch. I don't know if it'll be live, but I will certainly document everything. I promise you. We got Gatorade 23 in the chat with a $50 tip. Thank you so much. Whoa. Says, extremely excited for a few of the launch games. Bring me Red Dead Redemption 2 and I'll die a happy man. You know, Miles, the dude's getting Village. He's getting an exclusive Horizon game. He's getting Gran Turismo 7. Still not fucking happy. Needs Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm just kidding. Giving you a hard time, Gatorade. I think we all have that game in our heart that we're like, this would be perfect in VR. This would be a dream come true in VR. Please, somebody fucking deliver this game in VR. And for Gatorade 23, it's Red Dead Redemption 2.
There's a good girl. It'd be amazing. Riding. Be so good. And then fighting actual gators in VR. Yeah. Dude, Red Dead 2, the moment I was going through the trees and there's a bear in the distance and I went, oh, there's a bear over there. And it started coming at me so fast. And I'm like, oh, you know, and you're like, that's actually getting ground on us. That in VR would be absolutely incredible. And this isn't going to be a spoiler because if you ever play the game, you're going to forget about it.
Every time you say this isn't a spoiler, it ends up being a spoiler.
Okay.
So cover your ears if you're concerned.
It's tens of hours, but there's a little outhouse you come across, and when you open it, a bear comes out, and it scares the crap out of you. Now, there's lots of outhouses. You're never going to know it. When it happens, it will make you jump. That in VR would be phenomenal.
I have bad news for you. When you press the headphones closer to your head, it doesn't actually block out. Yeah, doesn't. It's the opposite.
It makes it louder.
Yeah. Okay, so Swordsman is on this list because, come on. Come on. The updates that we've gotten for Swordsman have been extremely frequent. We've gotten so many updates to Swordsman, from new weapons, new bosses. I mean, just everything, dude. Like, the team over at Sin Studio is just super generous with this game. And so I have a feeling when they announce something, it's got to be a PSVR 2 launch title. I have no idea what the upgrade path is, but I'm assuming they're going to announce something soon. It's got to be soon. Talk to me, man. Talk to me. Swordsman. What's your hype level?
Always been impressed. Always had a good time with Swordsman. And I don't always mean I don't. I always said it feels like an amazing. It's a great game, but even more impressive as a tech demo of like really good fighting, and to have that with the PSVR2 tech, I think is awesome. And it's actually probably going to be one of the. It'll be a game at launch I would jump into on the first day. I'll be really excited to know how it feels, the combat and everything. So I'm going to give that a. I'm going to give it a 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, like, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a game I spend countless hours in, but on the first day, that's going to be like, if it comes out on launch, yeah. I know it's a game that feels great to play and to have it with the next gen stuff.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to echo your enthusiasm, sadly. I played a lot of Swordsman, had a lot of fun with Swordsman, been very proud of that team over there for what they've accomplished. I can't wait for their next game.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Oh, for sure.
That's what I'm excited about from Sin Studio, not playing the same game that I've already played to death. I'm going to be curious. I'm curious about how the haptics are going to feel, what the adapter triggers are going to feel like, the haptics in the headset, how they're going to utilize that. And that's why it gets a 2 for me. But
release the Kraken.
Yeah, I feel like I'm even being generous with that because I've had enough Swordsman. I really have. Nothing. It was great while it lasted, and I've had enough. Tale of Onogoro. I've been playing on the PSVR 1. Man, these guys at Amada, the team at Amada who made Last Labyrinth, really know how to make me dislike puzzles. I like puzzle games, and I don't like Amada puzzle games because what I'm trying to do is just get through the puzzles so that I can fight the bosses, because the bosses are the fun part of this game. And it's just like, dude, just give me more bosses. I'm gonna be done with this game and have reviewed before the PSVR2 version comes along. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not gonna want to play through it again, not even in the slightest, because I don't think the graphical upgrade is going to be even worth talking about. It looks fine on PSVR 1. I don't care how it's going to look on PSVR 2. This game gets a 1 for me, not because it's a bad game, but because I fucking hate Amada puzzle games. I was wondering what Awesome Tatum was going to say in the chat. He says 2.5. He's also been playing this. Josh Cat says Onogoro is a 1 because he watched AJ play, and that was good enough for him.
Yeah, for me, it's going to be a 0.5 from me.
A 0.5.
It doesn't.
I considered
interest me.
I considered a 0.5, but you know, I don't know.
Again, not about the game quality or anything. Just how am I feeling about it? I just every time I've seen it, I've been like, not really for me. Yep. I'll give it a go.
Yep.
But Vacation Simulator, Brian.
I mean, what did I give Job Sim? Because it's the exact same story. I gave Job Sim a 0.
Wow, 0.
And I'm gonna give Vacation Sim a 0. Again, I actually enjoyed Vacation Sim more than Job Sim. There's more to do, more varied environments, more to explore, more to find. I've done everything there is to do. I don't want to play more Job Sim or Vacation Sim. I want to play Cosmonious High, kind of.
It's a 2. It's a 2 for me.
So you like you have more nostalgic feelings for Job Sim than Vacation Sim. That's what you're saying.
Well, I gave that a 2 as well, but like Vacation Sim, I hadn't played, so I'm kind of looking. Even though I don't have the nostalgic feel for Vacation Sim, I am looking forward to. Do you know what it is? I kept waiting for it to come on the sale, and it never. I don't think there was ever a sale, or at least a discount that was significant enough. Because those games are pricey. Like they hold because they sell. You know, I don't blame them for keeping the prices like that. But for me, when we play as many games as we do, and obviously it's changed now because with new releases, I'm very fortunate I get the codes. My backlog of games, although it has been helped with some game codes, there's a lot of games that I've not been able to. So when it comes to investing in new games or ones from the past, I'm going to always invest in new ones. So with the PSVR 2 version, yeah, I'll give it a go.
Sadistic Seabeast in the chat says Resident Evil 4 wasn't on your list. Nope. As we know right now, we have no idea when the PSVR 2 version or mode or whatever it's going to be. They have not told us anything about that, other than PSVR 2 content is in development, I think were the words they used during the trailer. So until we know more, we can't put it on this list. We can't even assume, sadly. This brings us to the last game that we have on our list that we're feeling fairly confident about when we look at the launch window games. Zenith: The Last City. Miles, this is I'm still in love with this game. I absolutely love Zenith, and I think that the upgrade looks really nice visually. I can't wait to play with better controllers. I can't wait to go. There's plenty of other stuff in Zenith that I haven't done. Right, I haven't exhausted Zenith like a lot of you have, and so for me, I get to pick up my journey where I left off on PSVR1 and continue in glorious HD. And so for me, this gets a 4.5. I'm super fucking excited, and I can't wait to hang out with the cats. This is going to be our metaverse for at least the time being. Right? This is going to be the place where 50 of us can hang out on a server and go running around and have fun.
I'm really glad you went first, Brian, because you're reigniting my imagination of why I fell in love with this game. I absolutely loved it. I spent 50, 60 hours in it. I've platinumed it. I felt I burnt both ends of the candle a bit too much with this game because I was unwell at the time. It was the only thing that kept me sane when I was stuck in. And it was even more grindy than it was after the first main update because there was a lot of parts in the game where to get to the next level, you had, the next quest, you had to be a certain level. And so you had to just do a lot of grinding of just killing mobs. Whereas they then did add a lot of side quests that would have helped with that. With the updates, the last time I played it was when you and I did the one where you have to keep climbing higher and higher.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and God, yes.
I do. Yeah, and so it's been a while since I've been on it. And so basically, I'm not as excited as I want to be for it, but I think that as soon as I jump in with the next gen like look and feel, it's going to be amazing. And if enough game cats are there and there's enough things to do at the level that I'm at, then yeah, I think it's going to be a good time. So I am going to give it a... Man. I'll go 4.5. I'll do a 4.5 because I'm keeping in mind that I should be more excited than I feel right now thinking about it.
4.5, is that what you said?
Yeah, let's do 4.5.
Okay. Boy, I wish I knew spreadsheets better. I wish I knew how to do all this more than I do. There's a calling in the chat from Old School GameCat saying hubris. What do we? Can anybody tell me what do we? There's so many games to keep track of. What do we know about hubris? I know it's listed on the PlayStation Store. Did they say it's going to be a launch title? Did they give us an indication as to when hubris will be out? Because I'm very, very curious about this. Anybody? Lightning Bolt Zero says you should add hubris to the list. It's coming to PSVR this year. That doesn't count.
Yeah, it's just this year.
That's all they said is 20. It doesn't.
They
have
just said
a date.
It was coming after the PC version, which was in December.
All right. So perfect. Again, we're doing our best to keep it within the launch window within the first 3 months of the headset launch. So what I played of Hubris, I know it's a very divisive game, but just the heads up, I feel like Hubris is beautiful. It was on PC, like really impressive graphically, but there wasn't a whole lot to do yet. They were like, oh, here's the jumping you want in VR, and here's the climbing you want in VR, and here's the shooting you want in VR, and oh, look, there's a little bit of crafting. And I was like, this is interesting. Where's it all going? And so until I really know where it's all going, it has the bones of a great game, but we've heard from many different people that those bones don't add up to anything. But we've also heard from some people that no, it is good. So I don't trust anybody except for myself. All right, Miles. How's it going?
It's going all right.
All right, cool. Let's.
I was literally looking up, searching on Google because it was bothering me, how to stop the Sony ZV-E10 from overheating, which is my camera. Like at the moment, it's just been annoying me so much tonight. So thank you everyone for bearing with, and especially you, Brian, for dealing with me going off camera and stuff like that.
I took you off camera myself, and then
You did it. You did a cyber attack on my camera. Oh, that's fine.
well,
That's fine.
and then your camera just agreed with me. That's all that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does say do not use puns around it in the instruction manual.
Is that what it says? Yeah. Excellent.
It does say that, yeah.
Okay. So here's what we're going to do, Miles. We're going to start at the bottom, and we're going to open the window up just a little bit here so we can see all of the ratings. All right, we're going to start at the bottom. We got 34 games here that are all ready to go. Sorted by our combined scores. At the very, very bottom is Kizuna AI Touch with a grand total of 0 points. 0 out of 10. Fantavision with a solid 1 out of 10.
I'm not going to clap for all these, by the way.
We're climbing the ranks quickly. Tale of Onogoro, 1.5 out of 10. Vacation Simulator, 2 out of 10. Job Simulator, 2 out of 10. Dropship Commander, 2.5 out of 10. 2MD VR Football, 2.5 out of 10.
Hand egg, yeah.
Oh, hold on. AJ just sent me a text and said we missed a tip. Oh man,
I'll find it. I'll find it. You keep going. I'll find it.
Yeah, it's Owando Kirinado's tip, and I don't know what happened. I don't know where it went.
It's all right. I'll get it.
Also, Owando, if it happens, we might not be able to scroll back that far.
Won't let me go up.
Yeah. Owando, can you repeat your tip, not just in the chat so we can see it? Thank you. I'm very, very sorry that we missed it. Okay, here we go. We're back to it. 2MD VR Football, 2.5. I blame this on you being British. Suicide Guy, 4. Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge, 4. Shockingly low on our list. Cosmonious High, 4. There's a lot of 4s. Tentacular, we're moving up. 4.5. Moss Book 1 and 2 is a 5 out of 10 grand total. The Light Brigade, also a 5 out of 10 grand total. Startenders, 5.5 out of 10. Hello Neighbor, 5.5 out of 10. Cave Digger 2, Dig Harder, 5.5 out of 10. 6 gets Swordsman. Cities VR, 6.5. We're getting to like a pretty good territory here, I think. We're getting to games that we're really excited about. And of course, don't forget, guys, if you're just tuning in, these aren't what we think of the games. We love Moss. We love Swordsman. We love these games. We love Job Sim. Well, like Job Sim. This is our hype level that we're excited to play on PSVR2. Cities VR, 6.5 out of 10. Keep an eye out for Owando's message, please, Miles. After the Fall, 7 out of 10. We're getting shockingly high up here. Saints and Sinners, Chapter 1, 7.5. Pistol Whip, 7.5. D-Day Enhanced, just revealed today on the show, 7.5. Alvo, 7.5. Kayak VR Mirage, 7.5. I'm just using the same clip over and over. Horizon, Call of the Mountain, 8. Wait, 8. Who's keeping track of my math here? This is 5 plus 5 is 10.
Yeah, that one. The others have been fine.
Data, sort descending, extend selection.
Guys, sorry, we're going to have to end the stream and start again. We're really, really sorry. We're going to do this properly.
Okay, yeah, no, scratch Horizon off the list. Kayak VR Mirage, 7.5. Demeo, 8 out of 10. Undead Citadel, 8.5 out of 10. Shockingly high on the list. Zenith, The Last City, 9 out of 10. One of our higher rated PSVR 1 games on this list. Saints and Sinners 2, 9 out of 10. Gran Turismo, 9 out of 10. Song in the Smoke, 9.5 out of 10. No Man's Sky, 9.5 out of 10. And then tied for first place, all 3 of these games, Horizon, Call of the Mountain, Switchback, and Resident Evil Village. Shocker. We couldn't be any more excited to play these 3 games.
Brian, it's actually a really good list. Yeah, I like the way it builds up. Individuals might have qualms about, I'd swap those around, but generally there's a real sense of trajectory with it. And again, it's nothing to do with the quality of the games. It's just a perspective of how we feel when you've got 30 to choose from. We are spoilt.
We are so spoiled. The fact that
I feel we're more spoiled than when PS5 came out. There was the question of how many games there was going to be.
Yeah.
So.
So, oh, perfect. AJ, thank you so much. AJ sent me Wando's tip. Said, Brian, just saying you left Drums Rock off the list. Thank you so much for the tip. But AJ reckons you'd give it a 0, so whatever, I guess.
Whatever.
Yeah, Drums Rock. I think that, I feel like Drums Rock belongs with Kizuna AI. Just like there's definitely just some shovelware out there that like I don't even want to acknowledge exists. I might make like a pile of shame video template where it's just like, this game's garbage, and then just show why it's garbage, and just like something that doesn't actually take much work for me. But to warn you guys that something's not good. I mean, this list is so unique to us, Miles. I've spent thousands of hours over the last 6 years playing PSVR1 games, reviewing PSVR1 games. I've had the unique opportunity to play all of the PSVR1 games that are getting a PSVR2 upgrade. And so my excitement level for some of those is way lower than it will be for some of you guys. But yeah, this is pretty good. This is pretty good. I'm very, very excited. I'm actually surprised Gran Turismo only got a 9. I spelled it wrong. Did I spell it wrong? No.
No. Just
spreadsheet thinks I
7.
True. Yep. Song in the Smoke, man. Song in the Smoke's my biggest curiosity as far as the upgrades go. Just can't wait to see what they've done with that.
And you say it's a 9. Like 9 is still an amazing score, And I know you're not saying that, but and that just comes down to the fact that for me, it's a game that I can't wait to experience, but it's just not my go-to. And I would say the fight. There's not ones on the list that I see that I think are out of place. Like those top 5. I like, those are 5 day one games that if they were on day one, I'd want to experience them all, get a sense of them. It's really, really exciting.
Yeah. Dude, we've already done a 2-hour show.
And that was after I literally came to this show after doing 2 hours of streaming The Last of Us hard mode.
Welcome to your new life, Miles. How does it feel?
Yeah, man. It's been good. It's been good. I just hope I can get all my gear set up because, GameCats. I just had to go out last night because my live stream, it was a bit choppy. I went on and ordered this Elgato capture card for the PS5 that can do 1080 60 frame per second HDR capture. Looks beautiful now. I've just been frantically spending money. And then when stuff goes wrong, like the camera, it's disheartening because you're like, oh no,
right. What
do I need to do now?
I hear you, man.
The joys of it.
Yeah, gearing up for 4K coverage of PSVR2 stuff is going to be expensive. And so I'm about to be dropping some money myself over here. Thanks to the cats for all the support. It's because of you guys that I'm going to be able to upgrade my camera and my capture card and everything else I need to do. So thank you all very fucking much. I want to point out a few things. Marcusor in the chat says that, I love that as a whole, everyone just ignores third versus game. Rip Gargantua. Altair Breaker got left off the list. That is a third verse game, and I believe it's a launch title, right? I believe it is a launch title. So I don't know where that would have fallen on the list. Too bad, too late. What are you gonna do? I'll make a video of all the launch window games. That's like 10 minutes long instead of 2.5 hours long, and so I'll make sure to include that on the list. RELis78 says, when is Firewall Ultra coming out? Nobody knows. We have no idea. They have not announced it.
What's your gut feeling, Brian?
Holiday.
Do you think you don't think it's going to be a launch title?
Absolutely not. No chance in hell that Firewall Ultra. And I would love to be wrong. I don't believe that's a launch title. I can't imagine that it would be.
Yeah, I'm the same as you. The only reason I feel a bit different is I feel like them going on down low, like the way they sort of abandoned what it felt like Solaris, Outer World Combat, which I loved, and that they were stopping with the seasons. It felt like for a long time they'd already moved on to this next gen version. The way it's been showcased and it isn't been framed as a launch title, they've kept it quiet this long. Yeah, it does feel like it will come out later in the year. In which case, maybe a next gen aim controller will come out with it, because that's the game. If they launched it and they said, we're also doing an aim controller for this, they'll sell a lot of them. A lot of the people that play that game will buy the peripheral in the holidays at the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I agree. Like, what you're saying is true. People would buy an aim controller if Firewall Ultra was designed for it. I don't think that's the case. I think Firewall Ultra was designed for the aim control. I'm sorry, the original Firewall 0 Hour was designed for the aim controller, right? And that's why it works so well. I feel like First Contact is looking at these Sense controllers and being like, what can we make for these, right?
Yeah.
So I think we're in a bit of different situation here.
That's a great point. Yeah, so it could be a surprise launch thing that they do on a state of play.
Yeah,
I think we would find out in the next. Well, if they do a state of play before PSVR2 launches, I think it could be announced then. Because also I just feel like it's nothing to do with like when's the best time to launch it. It's about when it's ready, right? Mm-hmm. And for me, because I just feel like there's a massive window of opportunity to have it as a launch title. If it was a launch title, it would be one of the best-selling games at launch, without a doubt.
I agree.
But then maybe staying away from the crowd gives them... But again, I don't think that's what the calculation is. For them, it's, we want to release this when it's ready. And a lot is going into this.
Yeah.
And it's a shame.
Prentice Summerscales in the chat says, Firewall unfinished. How big of an upgrade is it? I thought they were keeping most of the same maps. I mean, it'll be nice when they give us a better understanding of this. But I think essentially it's Firewall 1.5, right? Here you go. Here's everything. So I think if they had just made a new Firewall game and then left all the favorite maps behind and just made a whole new game, I think a lot of people would be bummed out, right? Are they keeping the old maps? Yes, but they're changing the old maps. They're evolving them. Time has passed. New areas are open. Old areas are closed. Like it's going to be an evolution of the things you're used to. Same with the contract. Same with everything else. And I think there will be plenty of new maps. So I feel like this is this is what we're going to get instead of Firewall 0 Hour HD upgrade, right? We're getting essentially a pseudo sequel that includes most of the content from the original game, which personally I think is kind of a better option. I don't really want to play the exact same game again on PSVR2 that I played on PSVR1 for hundreds of hours. Et.2k9.now with the $5 tip says, "This is really baking me." Is that an expression? This is really baking me. This is, you guys, every single episode, I'm finding out new words that I've never heard before, expressions that I've never. This is really baking me. Someone Google that.
I wanted to let you hang on that one, Brian. I was going to correct you, but I thought, no, I'll let you get this one wrong.
This is really... Spelling mistake. This is really making me miss the top 25 GameCast. This is really baking me, Miles. This is really baking me.
I'm pretty baked. I'm pretty baked.
This is really making me miss the top 25 GamesCast. Really hope we have a heated one for PSVR2 by May. Me too, man. Me too. I hope I want to have a top list fucking right out of the gate. There's gonna be so many launch games.
Dude, have a list that we benchmark against this list that we've done today.
Good idea.
Looking at this is what our anticipation was and what were the biggest surprises. Yeah.
This is really baking me. Belramio the Game Cat with the €6 says, I need to stop watching these live. These shows are too long.
No such thing.
Wonder Rob with the $5 tip as we just extend it even further. When Sony mentioned PSVR 2 at CES, they showed a sizzle reel with all sorts of amazing games. Is it possible that any of those are going to come to PSVR 2? Again, the whole thing felt like a fucking tease to me. It was really weird that they put that. They announced PSVR 2, and then they did the sizzle reel, and then Jim Ryan came out. It was like, this is all backwards, right? And so, yeah, they showed Spider-Man and God of War, and they showed Last of Us. These are not PSVR 2 games that we know of. How amazing would it be if they were? I think The Last of Us makes a perfect hybrid game. I think God of War would be a perfect third-person VR game. Just saying.
Man. This, oh.
Just saying.
Yep.
All right. I don't know what we're doing. Where are we at? What are we talking about? What's happening? Is it time for PSVR 20 questions?
It is, Brian.
Luckily for me, yeah.
I was going to say a huge thank you for like all the tips again today, because we are approaching the launch of PSVR2, and as someone who is a fellow supporter of the show, in terms of being a long fan of this show, like I would say there has never been a more important time to sort of back this channel, and it doesn't just have to be financial. If you're someone who just comes and watches the show and doesn't say anything, that helps us out so much. It gets the reach out there. There are 400 to 500 of you watching right now. If you like the videos and share them and tell other people about it, just engage in the community, it all makes a huge difference. But if you are able to donate and stuff, this is the time to do it, because it just allows us to give this channel and everything the upgrade it deserves as we enter a new era. So I just wanted to say a huge thank you to everyone for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to sit up here and beg for money. You guys have been so fucking generous, and we appreciate you so much. But I do want to say that because of your generosity, I'm going to be able to upgrade equipment. I'm going to be able to get a new camera. I'm going to be able to make everything look nicer. And so really, like, this all really comes down to you guys. And so thank you for everything you've done for me so far. The last 6 years have been incredible. You guys literally made my dream come true. I get to sit up here and do my dream job. 6 years ago, I said, man, wouldn't it be great to work for IGN? And now I sit up here saying I would never fucking want to work for IGN, right? Because working for myself and doing this and getting to focus on what I want to do and having complete creative control is better than ever working at IGN a single day in my life. This is way better. So you guys have made a dream that I didn't even know that I had come true. So thank you for that. Okay. Are you ready to finally conclude this show 2.5 hours later with a game of PSVR 20 questions?
And you're choosing the game, yeah?
I am the host. That means I've got a PSVR game up in this head of mine. By the way, it's changed like 3 times since the show began, but I finally settled on it, and I don't know if it's the right choice or not, but I hope it is. You guys out there, Miles, you guys have 6 minutes and 20 yes or no questions to figure out what game it is. So please help Miles out. This game is harder than you think it is when you're on the spot. It's easy to play from home. I do it all the time on GameScoop. That's where we stole this from. And it's way easier when you're at home. When you're on the spot, way tougher. Miles, are you ready?
I'm ready, Brian. And everyone in the chat, are you ready? Because I'm going to need your help with this.
Before I click the button, Ryan Barron, with the $5 tip says, how hyped would you be if they brought Crysis franchise to VR? Is there a franchise you'd love to see exist in the VR space? I've never played the Crysis games. Not really. I've fooled around with Crysis 2 a little bit, but I would love those. I'd love to play those games in VR. Absolutely. But BioShock is my series. I would take that. Dead Space. Yes. That's a great choice. Excellent. Thank you for the tip, Ryan. On your mark, get Des, go.
Does it have multiplayer?
What game is it? No multiplayer.
No, I'm asking the questions, Brian. No multiplayer.
I don't think what game is it is an acceptable question.
Does it have a realistic aesthetic?
No, I would not say this has a realistic aesthetic.
Is it primarily shooting that you do in this game?
Not primarily shooting.
Have the developers made any other PSVR games?
Yes, they have. Yes, they have, Miles.
Okay. And are these other games related, like prequels or sequels? Or
the other games that this studio has made on PSVR, are they related to the game in question?
Or are some of the games they've developed like?
No.
Have they made other games?
No.
That are prequels or sequels?
No, it's not Pixel Rip. That's 5 questions. Oh, and his camera goes out. No time to fix it.
Oh no. I mean, I literally could turn it off and on again quickly, and it will work. Okay.
That did work.
Can you craft in this game?
No, you can't craft.
No crafting.
No.
Has it been released in the last 2 years?
I don't want to say the wrong thing. It has not been released in the last 2 years, no.
And is it a good game? Would you consider it a good game?
I think most people would, yeah.
Okay. Right, Game Cats. No multiplayer, not realistic aesthetic, not primarily about shooting. The devs have made other games, but not one that relates to this one. There's no crafting. It's not been released in the last 2 years, and it's a good game. Is it? Have we mentioned this game today?
We have not mentioned this game today.
Not mentioned it. Not mentioned.
Hey, what's up, Tornado? What's up? Kisses?
No,
Okay.
Are you in a vehicle in this game?
That's not going to help you. But yes, partially
Okay.
part of it, but it's not.
Do you fly in this game?
No, you don't fly in this game.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not you're not in a vehicle the way you think it is. You're not controlling a vehicle. But it's only for part of the game.
Okay. I'm back in black, yeah.
That's probably a big hint, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, it would be a big hint if my brain was not completely fried like my camera. Oh man. Oh my goodness, Game Cats.
Yeah, the chat's disappearing. You're gone.
Yeah,
Tornado's sitting on
you're
my
not
arm.
Primarily shooting. You're not. Is the genre horror?
Nope.
Is it a sports game?
Nope.
Is it a puzzle game?
Yes.
Okay, we're there with a puzzle game. Okay. Is it first person? Like, are you prime? No, I know we always mess this up.
Yeah.
Are you controlling a third person entity?
Yes. Yes, you are.
Okay.
That's 15.
Is it a comedy?
I mean, I think there are comedic elements. She's going to fall off the desk if I don't hold her up. Yes, there's comedic elements. I didn't find it particularly funny, but I don't find most things funny. I would say no and yes. They're trying to throw some humor in there for sure. I'm holding Tornado up with my fucking elbow.
Trover, then. Not Trover. No, we haven't mentioned it today, so it's not Moss.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Is it based on a popular IP?
No,
it's not. He says it was people would regard it as a good game.
Most people would.
I thought it was.
I'm wishy-washy.
I thought it'd be Trover. Just in time, there's a lot of shooting in that, although it's not primarily shooting.
30 seconds.
Does this game consist of lots of short levels?
Not lots, but I would say the levels are fairly short.
Okay.
Scenes, if you would call them that.
Yeah, are they? I was going to say, are they diverse? Like quite different?
Yeah. I wouldn't even count that.
Does it involve? Does it involve warping of time?
No, that's not. You got one more. It's going to be a guess. What's your guess?
Is it? I expect you to die too.
It is not. I expect you to die too. As fucking Tornado sits on.
And that was probably a stupid.
It is.
Yeah.
It's by Interverse VR, who also made Mask Maker VR. That is not this game. This is A Fisherman's Tale. That's right. You are controlling a character from... It's funny because when you asked me about how you control the character right? You're like,
Yeah.
is it a first-person game? And I kind of laughed because yes, it is, but you're also controlling.
Right.
And then you changed the question to clarify. You said, are you controlling a character in third person? I was like, well, you're definitely doing that
Yeah.
too. So it was.
Yeah.
I don't know if that totally threw you.
Yeah. Dude, this game I have such a love-hate relationship with. I was really looking forward to completing it, and that final level with the matchstick in the lighthouse just does my head in.
It's. I feel like it's half broken.
Actually broken.
Yeah,
it is broken. Like I cannot complete the game.
Yeah, I kind of had to
really
force the puzzle to work, just like break the puzzle. Yeah,
man.
Yeah. All right, Tornado, what are you doing, bud? What are you doing? Huh? She's like, yeah, you can't see her, but she is definitely all up in my shit right now. Guys.
That's the first time I've guessed and got it wrong. In terms of normally I'd run out of time and stuff. It's actually guess and be wrong. It feels disgusting. I feel ashamed.
I feel like we always run out of time before we run out of questions. And if we never learn our lesson, we don't blast through questions fast enough in the first half. Because I think the second half always takes a little while longer. Guys, thank you so much. This has been a 2.5 hour GAMESCAST. I mean, not anything we didn't expect, but thank you guys for hanging out. This was a lot of fun. Really appreciate it. There were a lot of people here the whole time. So thank you for having long attention spans. You're amazing. Guys, don't forget to subscribe to Miles over on his YouTube channel. Click the link in the description below. He's playing through The Last of Us Part 1 flat screen right now. I say flat screen as if there's a VR version.
Yeah.
And so make sure you go over there. Obviously, you got your weekly shows. You want
on Wednesdays, yeah.
Yeah, you want to pimp anything that's going on right now?
Yeah, nothing planned as of yet for next Wednesday, but I'm just being really active. And I would just say to everyone who's watching this right now, like it's always good to plug it. I appreciate Brian gives me the chance to do it. But if everyone right now was to go over to youtube.com/miles and subscribe, it would really help get this going with the game streaming. And as I've mentioned, 9 p.m. UK time, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. Tomorrow, going to be playing Chapter 4, Billstown, and Chapter 5, which I can't remember off the top of my head, for The Last of Us Part 1. And then we'll be doing another 2 on Sunday. There's going to be a lot of build-up because next Friday, I'm going to be on this show, but from a different location for some exciting reasons that we can't talk about. But it's going to be a good one next Friday. So, and thank you to all those that said they've already subscribed. Love you all. Love you all. And hit the like button in this if you haven't already.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, look, the chat box is just completely missing. Welcome to Without Pearl. Guys, thank you very much. Thank you to everyone who hung out. Thank you, Miles, for hanging out with me for so late. I know it's so late in the UK right now, but look at you, full of energy, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed as always.
Unlike my camera.
Right? But yeah, thank you guys for hanging out. Guys, if you don't know how much work the moderators put in here and over on Discord, then you haven't been paying attention. They put in so much work, and I love them so dearly for it. So make their life harder and go join us over on Discord. The link for that is in the description below. These conversations happen over there like 24/7. It's crazy. So come join us over there. Make sure you subscribe to Miles. Subscribe to everybody on the Without Parole team. All the links are in the description below. Thank you to everybody who supports the channel on patreon.com/withoutparolegames by leaving tips in the chat here. Thanks everybody who contributed during 20 questions, who contributed during the chat this evening, and of course, all of you who sit back and watch the show and don't say a goddamn word. We know you're out there, and we love you just as much. Happy Two Wise Friday, Miles.
And Happy New Year, everyone. First one of the new year. It's the year of the PSVR2.
Yeah. Woo! I'm already over it. I've already done 2 of these this year. This is my 3rd.
Yeah, I know, for you. Yeah.
Good night, everyone.
Love you all. Have a good one.
This is totally random. Sinew in the chat said, we're never getting Wonder Boy 4 in the West until the Wii was a damn shame. That's so funny, man. I love Wonder Boy 4. Nobody talks about Wonder Boy 4. You know why? Because most people don't even know it exists. Also, most people don't care about Wonder Boy anymore. It's like... It was good, though. Yep. That's it. I don't have anything funny to say at the end of the show.
I have nothing funny. I used all my jokes, and that went downhill. So
God,
yeah,
you should have used them before the show. Can you do that next time? Can you use your dad jokes before the show?
Sure, yeah, I'll do it. I'll just like say it into a paper bag and then like and just like whisper it and then like get out of my system. Yeah. I've just put in the chat, by the way, the link to tomorrow's live stream for Billstown on The Last of Us.
Do it.
And yeah, get involved. And if you know people that have never seen it, it's a good part of the story to get into. Like, it hasn't gone so far that people are going to be missed. Actually, there's been a few big events, but yeah.
Dan Kiefer,
that game.
Dan Kiefer says, "Boy, I wonder." Huh. And then Wonder Rob says, "Wonder Boy on Game Gear. Love." It was in the States. It was called Revenge of Drankin. It didn't even have the Wonder Boy name on it. Mike Kelly VR says, "You're the Wonder Boys," which, by the way, great movie. Great Bob Dylan song in there too. Good stuff.
Great Tenacious D song as well.
Yeah, we're really dragging this shit out. Good night, everyone. Happy Friday. We love you so much.